Oh, wow. So I'm excited. I'm trying to just calm down. I don't want to breeze through this, but let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. I'm just excited. This is something that I love doing. I love sharing with people. I'll just tell you just a little bit about why I wanted to actually do this master class. Um, as many of you know, we have so many creative ideas. We're just creative beings. I think even just as women, we're just built to create and we're built to make. But sometimes we have so many ideas running through our heads, and sometimes it can be overwhelming and it can consume us, and we'll just put it down because we don't know where to start, how to get it all done. We'll be like, I'll take care of that later. Let me go do the thing that's the easiest right now, which is cook dinner, or which is go take a nap, or, do the same mundane routine thing. But I just believe that it is time. And what's really been in my spirit for a couple of years now is I always think about Joseph. And I've been saying this, on some of the videos I've done on TikTok or what have you. I do believe, and I'm sure some of you guys know this, that there's going to come a time down the road where we won't be able to do the things that we're doing right now, what we have access to, and all of this and all of that. So I believe that God is stirring up these ideas so that we can store up here, so that when we come down to the road, when it's a famine, when it's whatever, we would have built here, and we'll have a nice nest egg because we went on and we did whatever. We figured it out. We rolled up our sleeves and we got it done. We got over fear. We got over people pleasing or what have you. So I am very just passionate about this. And I know that God has given us individually how to get it done in our own way. So what I want to do is really build this community. What we have here, I believe, is three other ladies that are missing that signed up as well, and we'll always be connected to each other. We can share our wins, or how do you do this, or what worked for you, what worked for you over here, so that you'll always have someone along this journey. And maybe some of us didn't have that before, but this time you're going to have the support and help that you need. So I'm super excited. So let me go ahead and begin to share my screen, and then we'll pray really quickly. And we're going to go ahead and do what we do. Again, thank you so much for giving me your time this evening. I have a special, I didn't tell you guys, it took everything in me not to tell you. So the reason why I wanted you to do the personal pre-work was so that I could trim this down to what you really needed help with. So based on what you said, I have some people that are already operating in that field. I know I went away, in that field, that's going to speak right to the questions that you have and to let you know that it does work. This is how you do it. These are the pros, these are the cons, and everything like that. Let's pray really, really quickly so that I can slow down and calm down. Father, in Jesus' name, God, thank you for this opportunity that we have tonight to come together. Some of us know each other, some of us do not, but thank you for what you're doing right now, tonight in our lives, and we get to experience it together. We get to experience it together. Father, everything that you've downloaded to us up until this time, it really was put in us, God, at the before. As you said, you knew us before we were even formed in our mother's womb. So I thank you that as we begin to release, and these projects, God, go through the birth canal, God, come out through the womb and then enter into the world to impact people, God, to be a blessing, even for this to be an extension, God, even for this to be an extension of the ministry, God, that you've given to us. Thank you for you've created us to meet people in multiple different ways. So, Father, thank you. Thank you for giving us tools. God, thank you for giving us strategies. Thank you for giving us resources. And thank you in advance for every single door and opportunity that you've opened for our gifts individually, our gifts. Father, we thank you. We honor you, and we've acknowledged you. And your word said if we acknowledge you, that you would direct our path, God. So in Jesus' name, whatever you want to interject and say here on tonight, God, you have your free will and your free reign. We're your daughters tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. I could just keep going. But welcome to the Next Level Shift Masterclass Launch and Execution Lab. And I reminded you guys this is going to be a working lab. So we're going to do some work together. My goal is to help you. If it's only 30 days of content, we're going to get you done so you can get it done, and then 60, 90, and so forth and so on, so that you can be consistent. So welcome to your forever shift. Today changes forever. It's a restart, it's a redo, it's a refresh, right? So, I like to look up words. So, shift means to move or cause to move from one place to another. So, tonight, though you're in your home, you're actually moving to a different place. You're by faith and by work and through strategy, you're moving somewhere different than where you were even at 5 o'clock this afternoon, by and through faith. Another word for shift is repositioning. So you're being repositioned. You're also relocating. You are relocating from where you were last week, last year, 3 years ago. By the end of this class, you would have relocated. Another word for shift is to move. You've moved. Tonight, you're literally going to pack boxes of whatever was in the way is going to be moved out of the way so that you can go ahead and move to your next level. You're being changed. There's also an adjustment. Some adjustments are going to be made, and also some alterations, just like when we go to get our clothes altered because either we've lost some weight or we've gained. So you're going to gain something tonight and you're going to release something. So there's going to be an alteration that is going to take place. So why are you here? Why you're here? Because see how she's hanging her head low? Because we've decided collectively that we are done shrinking, right? We are really brilliant. Every one of us on here are gifted. We are like out of this world amazing. But sometimes when we're not in the correct spaces that maybe cultivate our brilliance, we'll kind of dial it back. We'll kind of dial it back because we don't want to seem like the odd man out, right? But not anymore. Not anymore. You've decided no more shrinking. Also, you're done with just living. I'm just here, right? I go to work, I come home, I cook, I'm a mom, I go to church, I shout a little bit, I sweat, come home, and I do it all over again in 7 days, right? You're tired of just doing that. You know that there's more. And now it is time for you to get moving. It is now time for you to get moving. So here's what to expect out of tonight. You're going to get some clarity tools. That's why we're going to jump into that workbook. We're not going to do all of it tonight, but there are some pages that are going to go along with our slides. You're going to get some strategy breakdown for what you want to do. Real-time creation. We're going to do some content creating tonight. I'll show you what I do, and then maybe we can even learn from each other. There are also some bonuses, some special guests. As I said, I have some people that are going to speak who are already operating in that field. They're excited to speak to you tonight. I'm excited to have them as well. I actually have I'm not even going to tell you. I'm going to hold it. So we're going to actually get accountability tonight, support even after this masterclass ends, and then we'll be closing. We will be closing. So your host, and I was like, God, I want this to be different. So I was like, look, we're going on a cruise tonight. So I'm going to be your captain. I am your captain. We're going on a cruise tonight. Go with me in your mind. So what I do on this cruise ship as we're about to take off, I help career-driven women such as yourself, women who are working the 9 to 5s, they're in their career, but are stuck. When I say stuck, again, you know that there is like, you're like, God, this can't be it. This can't be it. I have all of this on the inside of me. So I help you shift from there to becoming unstoppable by building and resetting the way that we think, the mind, clarity, and the strategy needed to live out your boldest visions. So I've been an entrepreneur since 2015. That was when I pivoted from paycheck to paycheck living, because I know that I was just in search for more. And some of you all have seen my journey. You've walked it along with me. So I started by going back to that paycheck to paycheck living. It started when I was on my couch crying, when I was previously married, because I was hearing the word of the Lord say that we're the head, not the tail, abundance and this and that and da 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 da. But my finances was not looking like that. And I was like, I'm tired of struggling. And so what I did was I went over to Instagram and I wanted to see how people were making money back in 2015. And I knew that I was creative. So I said, what can I do? And this was actually 2010. I would do it periodically. And I started with, hey, I'm just gonna jump out there. This is what other people doing. I'm about to do it too. So these are actually wrapped candies. I think it's like Snickers, it's like Almond Joy. And I would wrap up the candy and I would sell it, for Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. I would do the different holidays. So I honed in, and this is what I want you to do. I honed in on the creativity. I knew I was creative. But it's like we have to get beyond that fear. Are people going to like it? Will they buy it? Just do it. I've learned by just launching out and just doing stuff. It don't have to make sense to nobody else. Just do it. And this led to this right here, event design. This was my first. This was my first consignment. Little showcase or what have you. I had never did anything like this before. These were paper flowers. I think I was the only Black person at this show. I didn't care. I wanted to, I really I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to challenge myself. I stayed up all night making these. Did I sell anything? Nope, but I did it. I did it. And from there, I continued to push on. I didn't stop. This is just a closer picture of them. I didn't stop. And I kept going. And then that led me to, I don't know how I got to Norfolk State, but they invited me to make, this was supposed to be three flower walls. By the time I was done, it ended up being this one because it's a lot of hard work. But they saw the work and a door was open. So I show you that to say what you're doing, don't despise. It was, it's a scripture, don't despise your small beginnings, because a door will open. A door will open. You keep doing it, and it's your consistency, and someone is going to see. So from there, and I always want to get better at what I'm doing. So from there, it went into more event decor. And this was another door that was open for me. I was able to decorate for the events at church. And the business just began to grow. And from people seeing that, door just begin to open. This was a wedding I did. I did so many other things, birthdays, all of that. Then this was my second year, invited me back at Norfolk State, and this started from what? The candy bouquets. So don't despise your small, but even if people aren't sharing, even if people aren't liking, even if people ain't, keep going, because I guarantee you somebody's going to, a door is going to open when you do it by faith and you continually do it with the Lord. I also tried my hand at the little sweet shop. That was really good. I think Keisha probably remembers this too, and she helped me with this as well. I don't know. And it's so funny when I look back at these pictures. I was like, girl, you did all of, and then I did the apparel shop. And this went really well as well. And I had a lot of support for it. But it was when I got here, I said, okay, I want to begin to teach people how to do this, because I just want people to know, hey, it ain't just for Tondalia. This is for you as well. So did the apparel shop, did a little bit of drop shipping, did some bulk printing for some companies and everything. So I just show you these things to let you know that, and I was able to be successful because of the tools that I'm going to share with you tonight. I use social media to achieve milestone after milestone. So social media really does work. So now, as I said before, I coach women to pursue greater visibility, because no one's going door to door, right? We're not going door to door anymore. So I'm telling you, social media is going to be the way to get it done. So I help you to pursue greater visibility and to live out your boldest and wildest dreams. So that's that. So now we're into part one, which is clarity and the mindset rebuild. Right here, I am going to go into, let me stop sharing really quickly. Good to see your faces one more time. Let's jump into that workbook really quickly. And I will tell you which page to go to. Where are you at? Any questions? Y'all can put anything in the comments if you want to. and let me know if you have any questions. So this is a really big workbook, and we're going to go through some of it tonight, and then some of it will be for you to do on your own. I want you to take a little bit of a quick assessment. Um, Page 4 just gives you kind of an overview of what we're going to go over tonight. But if you go to, I believe it's page 6, where it says clarity check-in, where are you starting from? And what I want you to do is rate yourself based on where you are. Like the first one is, how clear are you on your next personal or business move? 1, meaning, not very clear. 5, very clear. How confident are you? So take a few moments. I think it's like maybe 8. It is 7. It is 7 questions. If you could do those really, really quickly. And then if you want to, I'll have maybe 2 of you guys to share. And I want you to feel really comfortable tonight. That's how we get the most out of this class, if we do everything kind of together. Let's see. How we doing? We still need a little more time? You said yeah. Okay. You want to share, Keisha? You voted enough to share? Yes. Yes, I know she voted up to share.
Yes, ma'am. So what you want me to
Okay.
share?
Whichever one, kind of maybe which one stuck out to you the most?
Um, I guess what are you hoping to walk away with after this experience?
Okay.
For me, I put down clarity, focus, redirection. Because I've had my hands in a lot of stuff. I feel like I'm gifted in a lot of areas. And so I'm trying to find that one niche that I could focus on and move forward in that. I've tried, you know, pretty much, the things I've been done. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to find that one thing that I can move forward in.
Gotcha. Okay. Miracle or Zay? Y'all want to do one? Zay, you still doing?
No, if did I did the ratings. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
one.
yeah. Whichever, yeah. How
Okay.
did you rate yourself on whichever one you wanted to share?
So how clear are you on your next personal or business move? I put
Okay.
between a 3 and a 4.
Okay.
I'm
Why do you rate
actually,
yourself 3 and 4?
I don't know, because I've stepped out to do what I am supposed to do. Like I feel good about what I'm doing, like I'm heading in the right direction, but sometimes I still have doubt.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I would say it's more closer to a 4 though.
Okay. Sounds good.
And
Okay. Okay.
I wanted to share
Mhm.
one more.
Yeah.
Um, the one where it says what area of life is most chaotic or unclear. I
Yeah.
said relationships and community. Like
Okay.
networking with others because I don't currently have a church home or anything, and so just like I'm unclear, kind of God is teaching me like discerning who's supposed to be in my life. Like I recently lost some relationships, so I would say that area is kind of unclear right now.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. How about you, Zay?
For me, I will go with number 3. What is one recurring mindset block that keeps showing up? Where do I start? That's the block right there. It's like I have these ideas and I think I just shy away from them because I'm like, ah, where do I start?
Mm.
Um, and let me see, I had another one. Oh, for number 4, what area of life feels most chaotic or unclear
Hmm.
right now? Um, I'm still asking the question, like, am I walking in my purpose right now? Like, what I'm doing right now, is this where I'm supposed to be right now? You know, sometimes I feel like I'm on the straight and narrow, but sometimes I'm like, it's a little it is a little chaotic, or there's certain things that happen and I'm like, well, that must mean that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But I don't think it works like that. Like I don't think
Hmm.
that means that. I mean, because sometimes even if you are on the path you're supposed to be on, it's not going to always be easy,
Right.
but I don't know. But that's
Okay.
that those are the two that stuck out with me.
Okay. This is some really, really good feedback. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know that this will kind of give you guys some clarity and direction in reference to where um, you're going. One of the things that I have learned is so sometimes this is for me, we can like just overthink it, right? We can overthink it when God has given us so many abilities. And I heard this before, like to run with him, run with him and shoot for that thing that you are feeling. Don't overthink it. Sometimes we can talk ourselves out of it because it doesn't look like this person over here. Um,
Yeah.
but you get clarity and you get clear as you do it. And that's when you find out, okay, I don't think that that's it. And it's okay to roll it back and it's okay to spin and go this way. At least you know you're clear. That's not the thing. Okay. Then you can go over here. But I would say to remember to not overthink it. Run with the Lord, run with him. And just, I just know that this is going to give you so much clarity. But let's jump back in. But thank you for sharing that feedback. But I know you guys want to get some help really quick. Let me go back to sharing. All right, here we go. So getting clarity and mindset rebuild. So why clarity matters? Because you can't build what you cannot see. And one thing that I've learned, and I kind of borrowed this from my pastor, is just the power of our imagination. You we can still use that. It doesn't mean that we are saved, we love the Lord, so it has been, our mind is continuously being transformed and renewed. So if we're dreaming with God, the vision that you see, run after it or write it down, make it plain. So they say, so the person who reads it, who sees it, they can run. Somebody will know exactly what Zay wants to do. And it's not all over the place. So somebody will know exactly. If somebody were to pick up Keisha's journal or book, they will be actually able to produce what you wrote down. It should be that clear. But that's how using our imagination is. And here as of lately, this is one of the things I always challenge women with. What happened to the thing you wanted to do when you were 14, when you were 21, you can still do that. You can still do that. There's no reason why you can't, right? So using your imagination, the thing that flashes, I know the Lord deals with us differently and in so many different ways. And with me, sometimes it's just images and visual images. Go after that. See, how can I get that done? Instead of us putting it to the side, how can I do that? And sticking with the thing. Remember, because we have so many ideas in our mind, right? Really just sticking with that. Write down the other ones, but let's see this out. Let's see where this goes. Still write the other thing down, but bring this to completion. One of the young ladies that I'm going to have coming on here, and you guys probably are familiar with her, this was one of the things that she struggled with. She had about 10 different things that she was working on at one time, but nothing was getting done. So I said, hold on, we're going to shut everything else down and we're going to bring one thing through to completion. And because of that, now she has 2 books. She's an award. She has her own coaching program. But what if she just kept playing around the other stuff? No, see it through. And as you continue to see it through, you'll get the next building block. You'll get the next building block, as you see it through. So going along with that vision. So my definition of clarity is having a focused. Sometimes I jump ahead instead of being focused. Yes, yeah. That's so good. Clarity is having a focused, confident understanding of where you are, a great assessment, where you're going, and what steps are needed to get you there. So where you are right now, where you want to be, and the steps you need to get there. So research those steps. Ask someone that's already there. Invest in a class like this one. That's the thing that we're going to have to do. I think that's why we get stuck too. We can't be afraid to invest in ourselves. That's totally a game changer. Getting and sitting in someone's class that is where you want to be, and it will actually catapult you and cut time in half. That was one of the reasons why I shared all of the things that I did, because you're not going to have to do all of that stuff. You're going to have a straight, clear path to where you want to go. I used to always say I love consistency, and I used to always post. But one of the things too, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, using social media, and some of the reasons why we get discouraged is because we don't have an end. I used to just post to be consistent. That's great, right? But posting and not having a goal at the end of why I'm posting. That's why we'll get discouraged when no one's liking it, no one's sharing it. Right? It's because we're not talking to anyone. We'll get into this later on. Getting clear on exactly who you want to help with the project, with the mission that you want to do. Who do you want to help? How does that woman look? How old is she? What does she do on her downtime? Not you, but your client. Like, for instance, you see in the beginning, I said I help career-driven women. I don't help stay-at-home moms. I help people that are in the job force. Why do I do that? Because I know that they have ready available funds. So you got to begin to narrow it down just like that, right? I help women who know that there's more, not people who are CEOs because they loving the money right now. So the same thing with you, you're going to have to narrow it down to exactly who you want to help. Going back to Mimi, Miracle, as far as you're helping, you could possibly help women who are on a weight loss journey. And you want to know that because that's going to help your messaging. That's going to help your post. Because sometimes your posts, they're going to hit the people who know you, family, friends, whatever, whatever. But for it to actually hit somebody who is not familiar with you, it's because you're going to begin to use their language. Oh, wow. You're going to begin to use their language. I shifted my language and I started using stuff like stuck, frustrated, because those are all the things that my people are feeling. You see what I'm saying? That's getting clear. So the next one is also, it's the ability to see your life, your purpose, and your next big move without it being clouded by fear, confusion, or outside noises. As of lately, I love spending time with Tondalia. That's when I get the best ideas. And I'm very careful with who I share these ideas with, because people, and they don't mean to do it, they will minimize what you want to do because they're not seeing what you're seeing. They're not thinking the way that you're thinking. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're guarding that. Now, no one's the enemy, but we gotta have to think differently. Remember, we're shifting, we're altering. So clarity is so important because it's going to save you time. When you know your direction, you stop wasting energy on distractions, random opportunities, or dead end projects. Always, I am learning to start something with the end already in mind. I know exactly where I want this to go. And if I know where I want this to go, when other things come up that don't meet that trajectory, I can't do it. I can't be a part of it because it's going to take me off. It becomes a distraction. You see? The next one is clarity is going to build your confidence. When you're clear, you're no longer second guessing yourself. You make decisions faster, you stand taller, and you walk bolder in your next steps. And then clarity, it creates momentum. Confusion creates paralysis, but clarity, it creates movement. Even one clear direction unlocks a domino effect of growth, right? You start to see a return and you get excited, like, hold on, that worked. Let me keep going this way, right? Right. So then clarity protects your peace. When you know what's yours and what you carry, when you know what's yours to carry, right? When you know what's yours, because we already have started, and you can use this in your life as well. When you already have the end in mind, when other things come in, okay, that don't have anything to do with the end, then you can't. That's how serious you have to be when you want to start really seeing movement and seeing your vision and seeing projects and seeing your podcasts and your books. You're going to have to get that focus. I've have learned that that's when you begin to dictate and say what your day is going to look like, instead of you reacting to what, you know what I'm saying, to what pops off at the day, because you already have the end. I already have my schedule, what I'm going to do, right? So that's protecting your peace. All right, clarity aligns your goals with purpose. Without clarity, here we go, you chase everything, but you catch nothing. With clarity, you move intentionally toward the life you're actually called to live. One of the reasons why my coaching business is called Abundant Lives Transformational Coaching is from the scripture that what the enemy comes to steal, kill, and to destroy. But God has come that we might have life and have it more abundantly, not stuff being taken from us, or not things being squeezed, the life squeezing out of us, right? So, so what's blocking your clarity? So I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to hop back into the workbook. We good so far? Any questions, any comments? Is this good? Some thumbs up? We get it? We understand it? Is it helping a little bit? Okay. Okay. Good, 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 good. All right, let me pull up this workbook. Let's see. I want to go to page, I believe it's page 10, where it says, let's call them out. You guys see that? Page 10 in the workbook. Let's call them out. So what we're going to do is go over, and I wanted to get this part done prior to us going into the lab, because we got to start with that foundational basis first. So let's call them out. Look, every belief is a seed. You either grow in power or you remain rooted in fear. So let's begin to dig up the old narratives that are keeping you stuck. So what you're going to do is list the limiting beliefs. And I gave you an example right here of I'm not ready yet. And what's the real voice behind that? It's fear of failure, or it even could be fear of success. It could be wondering what people think. And then where does that show up? Not doing it, right? Delaying your content, avoiding being seen, not showing up online when you really have something to say, when you really are a thought leader, right? So let's do two. We can do two. If you can think of a limiting belief that you have as it concerns your project that you want to do. I know some of you put books and podcasts. Someone put a women's platform she wanted to create. She's not on here tonight, but let's do two, and let's locate what the voice behind it is. It can even be someone else's opinion, um, or a past experience where you did launch out and it didn't work. You have that same old memory, like this is not going to work again. So let's do that. Let's do two, and then I'll have you guys each share one. And in the pages to follow, I actually broke it out in little blocks if you want to use that one too, where it says your turn, limiting beliefs, what's the voice behind it, where does it show up, if you wanted to use that one. All right, anybody want to share one of them? Are you still working? If you are, take your time.
I'll share.
Okay.
Um, the limiting belief I said was I'm not good at public speaking.
Mm,
Um, and I said that I guess the voice of that is fear of saying the wrong thing or fear of being judged. And then
mm,
where does it show up? Anxiousness and speaking and not networking with others.
mm.
And even
That's
probably
good.
like delaying content.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty good at like written communication, like putting together videos, putting together content. But like
Hmm.
I'm like if I do something that's really good and say like it gets a lot of traction, am I going to be asked to like speak somewhere? Um, and that's kind of like like that brings me some anxiousness.
That's
I hope
good. I like that you were able to identify it, not shy away.
mm.
That's good. Next person. I like that.
I
I
put oh, go ahead.
For my limiting belief, and this is for, writing a book. Um, I put what if no one supports?
Hmm.
Because for this book, well, for the one book that I've been sitting on, um, I'm going to need other people because it's going to be kind of like I'm going to interview them on,
Hmm.
how they're dealing with. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's going to be. Do you guys remember those books that used to come out like Chicken Soup for the Soul? But back in the day, look, I'm old school. Back in the day, I used to read those, and so what it is, it's like um mixture of people's stories that are similar. Like we've gone through, like for me, mine is going to be about grief. We've all gone through this thing, but what I want to do is I want to hear from these particular people to see how they dealt with it, how did they come out of it, and using the word of God, and how God um healed them, and things
Yeah.
like that. So I have several people. I've already written out the people who I want to be a part of this book with me. um
Mm-hmm.
but so my fear is that maybe some people that I would like to assist me in this book, maybe they don't understand the vision, and they won't be supportive, or they'll say, oh, that's not something I want to do, and so what that causes me to do is it delays my my start function. Like I don't start, and I stopped gathering information because I had started gathering information, just trying to learn how to do this thing. Um and then I think with me delaying starting it, there's people out there that this could help. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah. So if I never bring
Mm-hmm.
it out, you just never know that one person that might really it might spark their healing, just to be able to read this and see, like, wow, you know, okay, so I'll go get the therapy, or I will go join a church and do, I will talk to this person. I will go here,
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm smiling about it because every time I think about it, it's like I know it's gonna be good, but my gosh, I just got to get over the stumbling blocks in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay, Keisha.
For me, I put limiting beliefs. I put lack of passion because and the reason why I
Mm.
put that because I was doing what I was passionate about, which was, being a chef and all that, being a caterer, working with food. And now I have some
Mm-hmm.
limitations in my body where I can't do those type of things anymore. And I've tried some other things like real estate
Okay.
and other things, but nothing has given me that passion like, being a chef. And so the voice behind it is right now, the voice behind it is anger. Because I'm upset because I can't do,
Mm.
and that could be a stumbling block because I'm so focused on I can't do that that it's hard to move on to do something else. And even though I have moved on and tried to do other things,
Mm-hmm.
but every time I do something, it just doesn't give me that satisfaction, that passion, that I don't have the drive and the motivation to continue doing it. And so
Yeah.
then I end up losing a lot of money because take these real estate exams and pay all these fees and all
Yeah.
those things. So that's another voice behind it too. You're gonna lose more money, keep trying different things.
Mm-hmm.
You're just losing more money,
Okay.
taking more income away from your home.
Okay.
And so it shows up where it shows up in, like I said, the finances, because I'm losing money, not really making, bringing money back in. And it's just a continual cycle of searching for that thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you really because I'm going to pray, for the spirit of over the spirit of fear. But you haven't. I know you have a YouTube channel. Have you thought about cooking on there live or doing a cookbook or you know?
Yeah, I've done that. But that's not where my heart is, I
Oh,
like
I thought you
I
said your
like
passion was cooking. I'm sorry.
it is, but it's okay. Maybe I need to be more specific. It's cooking for people because I like to see people enjoying the food,
Got it.
sitting there entertaining, having people sit down and, just it just reminds me
Yeah.
of because my grandmother was a great cook. And so we would all gather at her house
Okay.
on Sundays, to have big meals and things like that. So I got my passion from cooking by watching my mom, being under them. And
Got
so
you.
yeah.
Okay.
don't get the same
When people
reward.
talk, like my mind would just start shooting off ideas.
Yeah. You don't get
Go
the
ahead.
same reward from that, from, doing the YouTube and all that stuff like that. I don't feel that you do.
Got you. Okay. Okay. I wanted to take this quick opportunity. Let me just read this really, really quickly. This is why I love doing this, because we could just break open a word of the Lord real quick. Let me see.
My Bible right
For
here.
fear, because this was something that I strongly dealt with. And, going back to Mimi, as well as it's because you're called to reach so many people. And he will oftentimes try to come against or silence our voice. I thought that same way. I thought I would sound stupid. No one will, because I would have a lot of conversations in my head. Like, I know I have the answer to that. Like, I know I know what I say could really change da 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 da. And the enemy and then ourselves we'll play or downplay ourselves. But one of the scriptures that has really helped me, and you probably heard this before, and one of the things too that I do is, and I didn't know how important this was. I don't care if you got to do it every day. And you've heard me say this. I don't care if you have to do it every day, 3 times a day, because it has to go into you and it has to become like skin on your bones, the word of what you're dealing with. So it's the Isaiah 41:10. And Zay, you could take this as well, where it says, I'm on 40, I'm on the wrong one. Isaiah 41:10. And it says to fear not. There's nothing to fear, for I'm with you. Do not look around you in terror or be dismayed, for I am your God. So when you get up to speak or when you get up to share, remember Christ being in us, Holy Spirit in you. Holy Spirit is really in you, trying to move through you to reach his people. So ultimately that just X's you out the way, X's you out the game altogether, right? So you're just being a vessel, because I know that you love him. I know that you love him a lot. So fear not, for I'm with you. Don't look around or be dismayed, for I'm your God. Then he says, I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to harden you to difficulties. So if it's the one person who doesn't receive your message, he says, I'm going to harden you to that where it won't even bother you. I'm going to harden you to that. And I'm going to hold on to you and obtain you with my righteous right hand of righteousness. So find those scriptures that speak to that. Again, the enemy will try to fight you where you're most powerful at. And it's your voice, it's your platform. People need to, I think your journey, Mimi, is beautiful as I'm seeing these transformational pictures, because there's other people that's dealing with weight and they don't think that they can do it. So they need to see and hear your story. And I would encourage you to push yourself. And this is another reason why we're building this community, because when you go live or whatever you're doing, guess who's going to be on there? We're going to be on there hardening you up. That's the way it should work, right? So you won't be there by yourself holding you up. Same thing for Zay, same thing for Keisha. That's a part of building community, but you're going to have to find scriptures and you're going to have to eat it like food, put it on like a jacket. And I always say this, when you pray, the same spirit of the Lord and how he empowers you and emboldens you, that's the same God that's with you when you speak and wherever. He ain't going nowhere. Zay, the people that's going on with you when you asking them to, can I interview you for, and you're not coming to, no, I need your story in here because it's powerful. Let's go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But and Keisha, like, I don't know. I don't know. I saw the YouTube or whatever, but I was thinking about maybe cooking classes. And it's all today, it's really just all how you market it. As long as the pictures is cute, they gonna come. So I was like, what if you were to do like maybe cooking classes or somewhere? I don't know, maybe the Lord will open up a door and cooking or what have you, or maybe showing them how to cook with you. I know some people would do those cooking classes maybe for Valentine's or cooking couples or whatever. That's something that I saw. What do you think about that?
That I actually like doing that. I did do a couple of those when I had my catering business.
Yeah.
And but I hadn't even thought about it since then. And COVID hit and all that stuff like that. So people
Yeah.
weren't going to other people's houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So after that,
Mm-hmm.
it just never dawned on me again after that. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody stay doing that's just what I'm just seeing right now, just the cooking classes. But yeah, so this is really good. We getting some clarity, getting some clear, getting free in some places.
I'm
Ooh, this is
sorry.
good. Yes,
Can
yes.
I share one more limiting belief? I feel
Yeah,
like it's
sure.
common. The whole idea of like it's too late or why didn't I start this a long time ago? That's one for
Mm-hmm.
me that will try to
Yeah.
guide like get in the way. Like you should have been did this. Why are you doing it
Mm-hmm.
now? Type of thing. So that's another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Not sure
What do
what
you
the
think?
voice
What do
would
you think that
be.
comes from? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know.
I got you. What
Maybe
I
I guess fear.
what mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say just fear or um maybe disappointment. I don't know. Maybe feeling like I don't know, like I just should have done
You
this
should be further
before, but
along.
I
Mm-hmm.
allowed yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should
Mm-hmm.
be
I got you.
that's what
Um,
it is.
I definitely understand. But it's like what I've learned, I'm 41. You all know my story, 41, no kids, maybe divorced, maybe a year and a half, 2 years in, I don't remember. But it's like you have to what I've learned, if you don't understand where you are and where you're going and what you're supposed to do with what you have, it wouldn't matter anyway. So it's like the spirit of understanding. So that's when it's like, oh, you're actually right on time because you understand where you are. You're able to assess, you know what to do with the platform. But if think about 5 years later, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know you wouldn't have had the correct words. Even your heart posture may not have been correct. So we're arriving at the right time. The information that you're hearing, you're supposed to hear it right now because you know what to do with it. That's how I understand. I'm like, wow, if I would have did this, my motives would have been wrong. You see what I'm saying? So you're arriving on time. That's when you begin to shut down those what is it, every lofty thought and high imagination. And we only feel that way because we're comparing to everyone else. They don't have your story, your journey. They had to fight what you had to fight. Okay. Right. So when you begin to understand that, you're like, I'm actually on time. And when you understand that, things happen quickly. Things are very slow when we do things because we haven't caught up. We ain't caught up. We see it, but we not like in it. We're not in it. In it. Does that you understand a little bit? Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so let's jump back in.
Can I
I'm gonna
say
be
something too?
yeah, sure.
It's funny that you say cooking classes because Deborah Freeman actually put a post on Facebook this morning about a cooking class that she took with me online for some shrimp and grits back in the day. And she was like, I still make those shrimp and grits. So it was just funny that you
See,
brought
you
that up.
never know.
Mhm.
So how I just be seeing dreaming stuff. But what I see is if you do the cooking classes and who we don't know how long it'll be. We don't know if God will breathe on it and it'll blow up really quickly. We don't know. But what I'm seeing from that is I'm seeing a line of cookbooks, you know what I'm saying, from there, and you become just a household name. But just being the consistent in the one thing, even if it doesn't move as fast as you think, because what I've learned is people, it's the know. We'll get into this a little bit later. It's the know, like, and trust factor. People have to begin to know you, become aware of who you are, like you, just relatable, and using your story. That's the thing too that gets people that's drawn to you, not just putting something out there. Who is Keisha? Where's she come from? Oh, she's military. Okay. What's her heart behind cooking? Using that story. Oh man, when you're doing the cooking classes, talk about when you were in the kitchen with your grandmother as you're making da 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 da. Because people be like, oh, I remember. It begins as nostalgic, right? So they'll come to you because they want to hear the stories while you're cooking. So that's just what I'm sensing and I'm feeling right now. But I know that that's what God is going to do for you if you pursue that. Oh, anything else? Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. We're moving right along. We got about 30 more minutes before our guests come in. Like I said, I'm excited to share them with you. Let's get back to sharing. Mm, perfect. All right. So we found out a little bit. We were able to designate what's blocking um, our clarity, and you guys hit it right on the head. Let's see. So we have fear. So that's why I wanted to know what's the root of it. You know, getting down, we can see the big old tree, but what's that voice? Where is it coming from? So we said fear or overthinking, thinking that is we're down the road and around the corner when it's really just this, overthinking. Then it's maybe guilt. I should be further along. Why didn't I do this sooner? Or the last one, people pleasing, worrying about what people are going to say. Oh, did it freeze? Worrying about what people are going to say. And I'm looking at my screen, it's not coming up. Okay, that is. People pleasing, worrying about what people are going to say. Is it good enough for them? And also putting, I want us to get better at this, putting people before us. And I've said this recently, you can only pour out if you're filled yourself. And a part of that fulfillment is doing those things. So that's why sometimes we don't know how to identify them. We're really frustrated and mad and this and that. It's really because a lot of our stuff we put off, and we're doing this, and this. This is great, but you are great as your desires. They're important as well. And you gotta give that attention to it. It's of the most importance. So let's begin to reframe the story. Everything that we just said, we just identified. So that was the old story. Now we're about to do some power beliefs. We're going to shift those really, really quickly. Going to go back to the workbook so we can go ahead and change that up. And this is on page 17. Now we're turning the corner where it says rewrite the rule, rewrite the rules. So those limiting beliefs are going to flip them into power beliefs rooted in truth, God's word, or what you know is true about you. You are the bomb. You actually can talk and communicate very well. You actually can put together stories very well. You actually can cook. You do have the ability to do this, right? When you really sit down, you're like, I really can do this. So use the list below to reframe each old narrative. So what you just said, putting that unbelief there, and the new power belief, for example, was I never finish or I never follow through. Actually, I do follow through, and I do it with ease when it aligns with my purpose. So that's just an example. So old belief, I think that I'm late. Actually, I'm on time because now I understand how God wants to use me in this time and season. Old belief, I'm nervous to ask people because I don't know if they're going to understand what my book is about. I have clarity exactly what my books is about, and I'm going to be able to express that very well to the people that I want to interview. I've lost my passion. No, actually, my passion has shifted in a different direction, and it's been reignited because I have the spirit of the Most High God on the inside of me, and I can prophesy, and I can pray, and I can call things that are not as though they are, you know? And we stand on those. And we'll just do a few of those together, and then we'll just share one. Got it. You done, Keisha? You want to share one? And you guys can go, but it's other longer pages. You can finish it on your own. We were just touching some of the pages in the book.
Um, One of the other ones that I had was previous failures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I felt like, when I was injured or whatever, that I failed at, what I was doing. But my new belief now is I am not a failure. I am more than a conqueror. Everything that my hand touches prospers.
Yes. 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 Yes,
Good at
ma'am.
this. You're good at this.
Yes, ma'am. Everything. I have to remind myself, but that's the word. That's what he said. Everything that we do, it prospers. Whatever it is. Blowing those little dandelions. It's prosper. The little things that be in the little grass. It's prospering. Go ahead, Mimi.
Okay, so the old belief is I'm not good at public speaking. And the new one is God has given me everything I need to speak, and I won't allow the enemy or fear of what people think keep my mouth shut.
Yes. Yes, girl. Yes. Okay, come on, Zay.
Another one of my old beliefs was that I shouldn't do it because, it may bring up old feelings of grief for the people that I desire to share. And
Mhm.
new belief is people will be more than willing to share. It will be therapeutic for them, and they have a heart for helping other people,
Yes.
get to their healing. So, yeah.
Yes.
hmm
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. So let's run through because we're running out of time, but I want to run through just so I can let you know what's next. So as if there are going to be some other ones, and I do want you on your downtime to go through these and write them all out, just like you just did. So page 18, I think it goes all the way down. I think I did about 20. And then I love this. Whatever your favorite new belief, this is on page 20. It says I want you to make it a screensaver so you can see it. Somewhere you can see it. We always on our phones. Make it a screensaver so you don't forget. That's what your eyes, you have to see it. You have to see it, or use a sticky note and put it on your refrigerator. I have sticky notes on the side of my mirrors in my bathroom. So when I get up in the morning, whenever I'm in the bathroom, that's what I'm seeing. It's a reminder of this is what God told me. I am prospering. What I do, it is working. I don't care how many of the little 20 people on social media that I have, just because they're not doing, my business is prospering. People are seeing it. I'm not going to allow that to hinder me. Let's see. On page 21, this is just for you to go along on your own. So your next level self, now that we have shifted, I want you from those, and that's what you'll do on your own time when you do this at home. What does she look like? Describe, once you read, from what you just the one sentence that you did. Imagine you being her, living that out. Describe your next level self, you writing the book, you speaking, sharing your story. And it's just mind blowing to me. You guys have to follow Miracle and see her pictures and just the transformation that like somebody needs to hear that. It's amazing to me. Um, so you're going to describe yourself in one sentence, and then what are her core beliefs that she lives by? What are that your new person, not the person you were last week, right? Not the person that thought that old way, but then based on what you said, your power beliefs, what does she believe? How does her daily energy feel? Is she radiant? Is she playful? Is she strategic? Is she disciplined? Is she free? Page 22. And this is how you begin to narrow down, what does her habits look like? Is she just sitting around scrolling? Is she just sitting around watching Netflix? What environment makes you thrive? What environment makes you want to create the content? What environment makes you want to, let me get on this book? What environment makes you want to, is it looking at cooking shows? Is it looking at whatever helps you to keep that momentum going? That's what we got to do. Keep that train going. It cannot stop. How do you thrive? What's going to make you keep going and saying, you know what, I got to do the cooking show. I got to do it. I got to do the cooking classes. I really want you guys to take this time and do that. On page 23, I have a mirror, but I want you to use the mirror in your house, and I want you to speak to her. I want you to, what you wrote down, speak to her in the mirror. Speak to her. Look at you. I oftentimes do that in my house. I mean, when you look in the mirror, I mean, look in your eyes and you're speaking to her. You're speaking to 10-year-old Keisha. You're speaking to 15-year-old Mimi. You're speaking to 21-year-old Zay. That's who you're speaking to. This is the person that you're cultivating. All right, so let's do page 24, 2024, where you're going to organize all of that you put together to match your intentions. Page 24, it says, busyness is not the same thing as alignment. Sometimes we can be doing things, remember, always having an end in mind. We can be doing things, but they don't have nothing to do with my blog. They don't have nothing to do with my book. They don't have nothing to do with my cooking show. You know, it has nothing to do with that. This tool is going to help you to get clear on what really matters. So your focus first, whatever your project is. I remember yours was your book. Mimi, yours is your blog. And then Keisha, yours is, for right now, we'll just say the cooking classes. And then you want to delegate and delay. So what's going to help me to stay focused and aligned on my project? And you're going to put them in categories as this is important, and then this can be delayed. That can wait. You know, you have to really get down to it like that. And then release. Maybe we're doing some things that are distractions or getting in the way of us moving forward. We're going to have to get rid of those. And then it's some things like maybe speaking engagements that we need to nurture, right? So maybe speaking books or getting on some lives of people that are speakers. Or part of the things too about us building this community, I love sharing resources. That's one of the reasons why I started this coaching thing and masterclass or whatever. I've just come across so many people and I'm like, nah, I need to let these other people know these people that I know. You know, I have access to people who do podcasts, people who do speaking platforms and this and that, and how to get your book out there. So I'm excited to be able to share these people with you, but I want you to get clear because there's something I had to do before you get, so you won't be like, you can get clear about what you want to do. All right, so that's how you do that. And then let's see. All right, so then post it. So now we can get into part 2. Here we go. The work part where we can go ahead and get into the execution lab. And this is what we'll break at 8:30 because I have some special guests that are going to come in and talk to you, but at least we can kind of get started. So let me share this right here. Share. All right. All right, so the execution lab part 2. Welcome to the execution lab. So we got our focus project down. We know what we wanted to do. So we have action, where we have your ideas. Then you need to put the steps to the ideas. Then you need to do the action. So idea, leading to steps, leading to action. So planning out your content. This is what I alluded to. This is what I alluded to before. So already we all are working, right? So we don't have time to sit there and constantly, continuously post. If you I want you to figure out, and what you can do is do research to see what platform are the people that you want to reach. What are they on? They may not be on Facebook, or they may be. They may be on Instagram. They may be on TikTok. They may be on LinkedIn. They may be, it's so many. So what you can do is research that. One of my favorite tools, as y'all probably know, you use it too, and ChatGPT is like my assistant. And what you can do in there is tell ChatGPT, I want to help. And remember, you may not always be your target person. Like for me, I am 41? My target group is anywhere between 35 and 51. I'm not 51. But I noticed if you go to some of you guys can change your profile maybe to I believe it's a creator, and that way you'll be able to see your analytics. If you do that, you'll be able to see who's looking at your content, what age range are they in. That's what really helped me. I said, wow, okay, I have 50-year-olds looking at me. So I need to speak to them. So that's why it's not always geared to young, and it's not always geared to old. I try to meet somewhere in the middle. So Chat GPT, this is what I want to do. I want to do this book, blah, blah, blah. This is the idea that I have. The age range is between here. There are people who have suffered with grief, or they're caregivers, and they feel, how do they hear something? How do the people that you want to reach, how do they feel? Again, remember, I was telling you the people that I want to reach, they are frustrated. They feel stuck. They feel like it's late. So in my content, I'm going to use words like that. That's when you don't post just randomly. Find out how they feel, and actually ask Chat GPT will actually help you with that. This is going to help people to know you, to be aware of who you are, and to kind of stop their scrolling. The next one I said, I alluded to this earlier, like and relatable, giving value, giving value. So that's almost like educating a little bit. When you do your content, you want to educate, you want to share some funny things. That's why on Fridays, because I may be heavy on like promoting during the week. I might be heavy on educating, but I was like, Dad, I gotta make them laugh. So I use Fridays to share something silly. Because guess what? That breaks up the monotony, right? That breaks it up, and that gives people, oh, okay, she got a little personality. So when you begin to post things, that's how you can allow people to see, oh, she's not just, she's funny, So that's just thinking about just different ways like that. So when you post content, want people to know, like, and then begin to trust you. And that's using, I was alluding to this earlier as well, Keisha, with using your story, building your story, playing up your story, Mimi, playing up even transparency, Zay, as far as where you are with the caregivers, or dealing with grief or what have you. Sharing that story and sharing it transparently and authentically, because people are going to begin to relate to you, like, oh my God, I'm right there, just like me. I mean, she gets me. That's what it is. She gets me. She's right there where I am. So you want to begin to do that. How many of you guys are familiar with Canva? If you are, then I don't have to go through this. You are? Great. So you know how to do, that stuff is customizable. Put your quotes on there, get your colors, man, and Chat GPT will help you with the color codes, like all of that stuff. So all of your things can match and be consistent. Everything looks together. You always know I'm going to have on some pink, black, or white. Pink, black, or white is you're always going to see me. I did something different because this is a different master class, but I'm always going to be in those colors. That way it'll jog their memory. Oh, this is Keisha. Oh, that's Zay, the blue. Okay, that's Zay. So when even if they're out and about, they're Zay, let me see what she's doing. Maybe go to your page or what have you. So that's that forward thinking, and that's that posting with intentionality. I'm being intentional. I'm just not randomly posting. I want to get something from this. Either I want to get a follow, either I want to collect an email address. Zay, you could even do that before you have even started. Jot form, I think it's free, right? You can start collecting email addresses, let people know sporadically what you desire to do, though you haven't started. Get their feedback. Is that something you would like? You can start just teasing it out there, and you can start getting email addresses. That's very, very good too. As you guys do this, the goal is always to pull people off of social media, because think about it, if something happens, if it crashes, you lost all your people. But if you have them on your email address, you can still connect with them. So that's something to think about too. All right. So blocking out your time. That's going to be so, 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 so important to be successful. I think I have something in the workbook in reference to blocking out your time. Let me go to it. Let's see. I like this right here. Okay. Let's go to page, I believe it is page 30 in your workbook. And breaking your big idea down into bite-sized strategic steps. And this is from you guys pre-work because I really, really wanted to make this personal. So writing a book, launching a podcast, building your platform. What you can do is we've already named our focus project. And what we want to do is we want to give ourselves a hardcore deadline. I think I'm going to do this at this time, just not yet. I mean, I think I'm going to do this. I saw somebody waiting. That's why I said not yet. But define your goal and put an actual timeline on this. This is what, May 23rd. So can we have something done at least, let's see, we go down to the next page, a milestone. So this is May 23rd. What can we get done by June? We're not saying the whole thing got to be done. We ain't say that. But what can we get done by June 23rd? That's going to mark a milestone. And then figuring out what step I need to take to get there. So that's that clarity. By June 23rd, based on what I said I want to do, what can I get done? June 23rd. What can I do to make sure that I go live to talk about my journey and that will draw more people to my blog? By June 23rd, what steps can I take to make sure that I can go live, for at least 15 minutes, right? Putting a deadline on it, the June 23rd. And then what type of support would you need? What type of support do you need us to be online with you? Zay, what type of support do you need? You found out that you need, you're helping someone that's going to help you with the book, right? You found all of that. So listing that out, this is going to be so important, and it's going to help you to keep track and really see this stuff. All right. So I want you to really, really do that. Let's see. Okay. Let's skip down to page 34.
What's the topic on that page? Because my page number didn't print out.
Yeah, there's none on there. I just only know because I'm in the PDF. It says your content calendar starts here.
Okay.
Yes, your content calendar starts here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So giving ourselves 30 days out. So by weeks, say that you want to give yourself 2 weeks. What's 2 weeks from today? Look at the calendar. 2 weeks from today is the 6th, June 6th. So this gives you a week to kind of plan, get your mind right, and say, okay, I'm really doing this. All right, I'm really doing this. So that week, what's going to be your topic? For Zay, like I said, for example, it could just be interest. I want to get interest. Okay. How are you going to do that interest? Is it going to be a post? Is it going to be a video? Will you talk about it on the podcast? And then what's your goal for that week? And it is to get, I love this. So it's to get at least 5 people to respond. So if I want to get 5 people to respond, maybe I need to post 2 times a day, the same thing. I saw an uptick on ChatGPT, helped me with this on TikTok. I posted 3 times a day for this masterclass, right? The other time I probably only posted 1 time a day. So you need to get in front of people to see them. We always say at least 7 times. I think it's even probably more than that. So though you're posting 3 times a day, they may only see you once. So that means it's 3 times a day every day, but you can do it. Going back to the time blocking. So I know a lot of us like have jobs or what have you. So again, remember how we said we give everybody their time, their attention. You have to be intentional about you. That's why we're putting hardcore deadlines. We're writing things out. We're getting a weekly topic done. Sounds good. Sounds doable. You got that, Zay? What you, I see your face. What?
No, I'm just taking it all in because as
Oh,
you're saying that, it's like I'm envisioning it.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
when you envision it and it's broken down, it's not as hard as we think it is, or it's so big, monstrous. But
mm,
it's when you really break it down like this, it can be done.
yeah.
It can be done. Let's see. So we're very, very familiar with Canva. So I didn't have to go over that. That's great. I'm just skipping through the book to see because my guests are here. I got two people waiting. I told them 8:30, so I don't want them to leave. Let's see. Trying to see which I want to do in my presentation. Da, 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 da. All right, let's go back in here. So helping you guys getting a little bit clear understanding. Keisha, what you think?
Yes, ma'am.
How's it? It's helping you a little bit?
Yeah, it seems a little bit overwhelming, but once I get into it, I think I'll be okay.
Okay. And we're gonna help each other. We're gonna help each other too. Yes, ma'am. That's why we're here. We're gonna help each other.
I do have a question, a comment or
Yes,
something.
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So for me, I just started my blog, so everything is coming or flowing quite naturally and very quickly.
Yeah,
Um, but I guess I'm just concerned with like if I keep the same energy. So like now I'm excited. I'm,
yeah,
putting stuff out daily, sometimes two, three times a day.
yeah,
Um, but I also work a full-time job. So just trying to like plan that out. So
yeah,
whatever I do is consistent and it
yeah,
doesn't like slow down, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
It does. It does. Remember what I was saying is just always have an end goal in mind, which is really like your why. Um, just looking at this, remembering your why. That's what really keeps me. It has to be something bigger, and remember that this is not just going to be a blog. It won't stay a blog forever. It could turn into a conference. It could turn, you don't know what it could turn into. So having that end result in mind, but then again, being realistic. So again, that's going into when you were at the other masterclass, really time blocking. I think I was able to do 10 maybe 10 videos, maybe within 2 hours, right? And I just did it, left it alone, came back the next day, edited them, came back, so don't try to like force feed and choke yourself eating all at one time, do what you can. Don't remember, don't overthink it already. I'm thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to handle? No, and really enjoy the journey and enjoy the process. It's okay. It's no pressure, um, and just know that this, what you're doing, and this is what helps me, and I'm sure other people, what I'm doing is transforming someone's life. And that can't be rushed. And that some days is going to change. You're going to be that it's going to be ebbs and tides, So don't expect one day to be the same as because and I've always said this and I've learned this, as you grow, your business should grow, or vice versa. As your business and your blog grows, you're going to grow. So it's going to turn. So don't even overshoot thinking, how can I keep this up? Don't, because that's like you're going to self sabotage yourself already if you got started. No, we're not doing that. Nope. And you have, like I said, you have a community, but then plan those rest days. Like sometimes I'll sit here at this desk and I'll work, and I'll be working from like 10 to 6. And I look up, my eyes is burning. I'm like, Tom, go look at a movie. I just have to close, go. You have to give yourself that mental break, because when you getting in the thing and you're going, and then you just get tired. So force yourself to go out, take a walk. Then people gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to be successful in it. I believe that you will be successful in it. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to go ahead and let the two guests in. And what it is now it's three. Yay. It's important. Waiting for one more. I had you guys to do the personal work because I wanted people to come into that were in the spaces that you want to be in. So people who have written books, who have done the podcast, who have built the women's platform, and they're going to come in here and talk to you, share the pros and cons, share their experiences with you. So I was so excited to share that with you, and I'm about to let them in right now. admit all, and they're joining. Hello, hello, hello.
Give me 1 second. I have to change positions.
Hi, welcome in, welcome in. So glad that you guys are here. Hello, hello, hello. We're just coming to a stopping point. I'm glad that you guys are here. I don't know what order they're in on your phone, but where it says iPhone 2, this is Dr. Dominique Cleveland. So excited for her to be here. She has recently become a that's not why she's on here, but a licensed counselor. Is that correct? A licensed counselor? Yes, a licensed counselor. And this is my co-host of Better Together. Better Together. And then I have Miss Alicia Hurt, who is with she has her own organization, nonprofit. The I See My Baby. She opened up her own women's wellness center. And then we have Mia Knight, who is an author, one of my clients, two-time award-winning author, has her own publishing, coaching, and all of that stuff. And they're going to talk to you. And I'll give them an opportunity in the order that I introduced them in. And we'll go ahead and start with Dr. Dominique Cleveland.
Hey, everybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. First of all, thank you, Tondalia, for inviting me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I hope I'm able to give some good nuggets, okay?
Yes.
So, I wanted to come on and encourage you all and say that whatever it is that you are trying to do, whatever it is that you're doing, you're wanting to do, it's needed. Your voice is needed, you're needed. Whatever it is that you are pursuing, it's needed. So definitely pursue. I'm gonna come on and talk about a little bit about podcasting, because that's what me and Tandalia talked about a little bit. So we're going to talk about that. Um, I want to say this though, before I start my presentation, I want to say this. Podcasting is not something that I actually aspired to do. I kind of stumbled upon it. About 2 years ago, my husband, he had started a podcast and he was like, you should start a podcast. And I was like, I don't have nothing to say. Nobody's going to listen to me and all that. Right. But I had this idea. And one thing I love about podcasting is, sometimes we have a lot to say, but social media is not always the place to say it. Okay. And so sometimes we just need a platform where we can just release and we can say what we need to say. And so I stumbled upon it and it was me and my best friend. We were like, listen, we need a place where we can be real. We can talk about our issues, life, all of that, motherhood, everything. Okay. And so we started it and then we ended up gaining Tondalia, and our podcast just came together. And so it's called Better Together. We put a pause on it for a little bit right now, but I have tons of information I'm going to give you all tonight. And so I hope that is encouraging, just to let you know that you guys can do it and your voice matters. Trust me, your voice matters. So one of the questions on here was, what's holding you back? First of all, again, for the young lady that I was supposed to be speaking to, I wanted to say the podcast idea is phenomenal and much needed. It's ministry. I believe that there's a podcast for every niche, but when it comes to ministry, we need more kingdom podcasts. Okay. So this is beautiful. It's going to be a place where you all are going to be able to um tell your testimony and allow others to tell their testimony. And we need that. Y'all remember back in the day when I used to do testimony service? We need that. We really need that. People need to know. People are going through so many things in life right now, and we need to hear what others are actually overcoming and thriving through. Okay. So I wanted to say firstly that the podcast itself, I think, is phenomenal and definitely needed. Now, Tandalia, will they be able to talk back to me? Okay. So I had a question. The young lady said that she had 2 additional team members. Is any of her members on tonight? Okay. So can I speak to the team member? Who is that? Zay? I know it ain't Zay.
Yes. Hey.
Child, listen here. Hey, Zay. Hey, Zay.
I'm
Okay.
like,
Well, this is
me?
my girl. This like my sister, y'all. But anyways, okay. So Zay, I have a question. What are the roles of the team members, if you don't mind telling me?
Okay, so the as far as like roles, we are each a co-host.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and we will be like you said, it's going to be like a more a kingdom guided podcast. It is our ministry. We will be, without putting too much out there, what we want to
Yeah.
do.
Don't put too much.
It's gonna be two-part because some of our shows will be, this is the goal, will be live where you can
Okay.
watch, and we'll have people on there and they will be sharing their testimony and
Okay.
their walk, different things like that. But sometimes we'll have it set up to where it's just us. You can't see
Right.
us, but you can hear us, and we'll just be discussing like different topics
Okay.
from the Bible. Just different things that we want to minister about. And it was sharing our
Okay.
own personal story with that particular topic. Um
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay. I get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, so I asked that. I think that's awesome, and that's pretty much what me and Tondalia did with our
Mhm.
other co-host Latoya. So I totally get it. In terms of responsibilities, are we all sharing the responsibility? And I'm asking this for a reason.
Mhm.
Are we
Mhm.
all sharing? Okay. So I asked that because one of the questions that she asked was, you know, do I do all this by myself? Do I record by myself? And so I just
Yeah.
wanted to know what was the roles of everybody. So if we're sharing responsibilities, then that means it's not on just on one person. Okay.
So we
So
discussed that. She and I discussed that, and yes, it is important that we all know how to record, and
I'm
we
gonna help
all
you with
know
that.
how to. Yeah, we should all know how to create that content. That
Okay.
little 30-second snippet on TikTok, just so we can get more
Yeah.
people, to watch the podcast or listen to the
Okay.
podcast. So yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it should
Okay,
be a
I got the
share.
gist of it. I got the gist of
Mhm.
it. It's just like ours. And let me just say this little nugget real quick. One
Mhm.
thing that I've learned, I'm a business coach. One thing that I've learned about people is that everybody wants everything to be perfect in the beginning. That
Mhm.
is not the way this goes. That is not the way this goes. And so if that's
Mhm.
in your head right now, I want you to throw it out right now. Okay. Before we go any further, throw it out your head that it's going to be perfect before you start. Listen, I learned so much about podcasting while doing it. I didn't think I could edit anything. And then I got to the point where I loved it. Okay. Tondalia and them was like, oh my God, you out here pumping content out. I knew nothing about pumping content out in the beginning. Okay. I was scared of it. I was like, who's going to look at this stuff? And then you start perfecting, you start learning. And so I want you, the key with anything is to just start. Just start.
Yep.
I promise you, once you start, everything else is going to start flowing. Okay. So she also asked, how can she fit this? How can I fit this into my busy life with being a mom and having kids? What helps you stay motivated? So I'm a mother of 5. Um, and I'm currently pregnant. Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's always something for me to do. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this. This is what I had to learn about myself. Is this a priority for you? A lot of
Mhm.
people, they work 9 to 5s and they make their 9 to 5 a priority. But when it comes to the God given ideas, sometimes we sit on those because we're a little comfortable. Okay.
Mhm.
When you are stepping into purpose, When you are stepping into something different, it's going to be uncomfortable. Just like it was when you first started that 9 to 5 and you had to shift your life into this new schedule and all that, it's going to be the same thing with this business idea. But when it's a God-given idea, when God literally tells you to do, when he puts something into your hands and he says, I trust you enough. I believe that you, Mia, that you, Keisha, that you, Miracle, that I believe that you can do this. That means that we have to trust the God in us, right? To go forth. So we can't be sitting on it and we can't be up here acting like we're scared and fearful. It's okay. Do it scared. Okay. And so the first thing I would say is this a priority for you? I want to tell you guys something that somebody told me a few years ago, and I promise y'all it stuck with me like none other. Somebody told me that there are specific people assigned to me. And the slower I go, I delay them. That hurt me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm delaying somebody else's destiny because I'm sitting on stuff and I'm scared to get out here. And you got people who don't even have nearly as much as your expertise doing stuff. Okay. So that's a nugget I want to just tell you guys. Is this a priority for you? Do you feel God is leading you into this? If you feel like God is leading you into this, then it's time to go forward. So if that answer is yes, then the first thing I want you to remember is there's always going to be help. Okay. God will always send your destiny helpers and your purpose pushers. Tandalia is one of mine. Okay. She's one of my destiny helpers and purpose pushers. All right. But you're going to have to learn new time management. Okay. I will say that you're going to definitely have to learn new time management skills. And you're going to have to remember that your life is going to start to look a little bit different, but you can do it. It's so many people who are working, who are parents, and who have all these things going on, but yet they're finding the time. I don't care if it's an hour a day. I don't care if it's an hour a week. If you don't have anything to do on the weekends, then that's when you can edit. You can bulk record. That's what we used to do. Okay.
Yes,
So
bulk record.
whatever, yes, bulk record. And so even if
Yes.
that's bulk record can look like 4 videos for you, 5 videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a podcast before, but we have since
Oh, okay.
shifted. We've shifted. Well, God
Okay. Okay.
shift us. So,
Okay.
but yeah, but
I
this
got you.
yeah, but that everything that you're saying, like I'm over here writing it out because it's so good because it's already stuff that is running through our mind, but to hear you say it, it's like
Right.
putting the fire behind it. It
Yeah.
like it's matching up with the ideas that we are having. So
Good.
just
I love that.
confirming, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. And I'll send my notes over to Tandalia so you guys can have them as well. But I
Hmm.
just wanted to go over them for you all.
Yeah.
And so I would just say what days and times work for you to record and how often do you want to put your shows out? We put our shows out once a week. That I think that's plenty. It gives people something to chew on throughout the week. Um, and then, it helps you with just not kind of going overboard with topics and then getting to the point where it's like, what do we have to say now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, how often do you want to record? What days and times work for you all? That's going to be very helpful. Do you have at least 30 minutes to an hour to record? Because we were like, we're only going to do 30-minute shows. Our shows were like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because us ladies, we let it talk, okay?
Mm,
But it gets good. It gets so
yeah.
good. And when you're talking about God, you can, man, so
Mhm.
just remember that. And do you have at least 30 minutes to 2 hours a week to edit? Okay. And I'm gonna show you guys. I won't show you the platform, but I'll tell you about the platform that we use. It's very easy. I know how to work a computer, but I'm not like crazy tech savvy. So I needed something that is gonna work for somebody like me. And so we found a great platform, and I'll share that with you guys. She asked about logos and things like that. My favorite place to go, you all, is Fiverr. Fiverr is an amazing place to go get your logos. You see, Miss Keisha, is it Keisha? Am I saying that right?
Mhm.
Okay, hey, girl, hey. She
Are you saying
understands.
Fiverr?
Fiverr,
Five V.
Fiverr.
Okay.
Okay, and you can get sometimes you can get logos as low as $5. They're professional and they will be your actual logo. So can't nobody come take it from you, and you get the rights to it and all that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They also, she asked about social media management and videography. If you guys don't want to do that yourself, if you want to pay for somebody, you can also go on Fiverr, vet somebody and pay for their services as well. Okay. I'm gonna say this though. I'm a person who believes a lot of people when they start a business, I don't care if it's a podcast or a business, they want to automatically hire people to do things. I think that's great, but I think it's also great to learn your back end before you hire somebody. Okay. So that's just a little nugget. Um, One of the other questions was adding guests. I suggest that you guys create a form, okay, where you vet your customers, vet your guests. I'm sorry. The platforms that I like are Google Forms. My two favorite though are Jotform and Zoho Forms.
Okay.
Okay. I love those. And they do have free options because you want to make sure you're not just dishing out coins. You want to tally up your coins, okay? Make sure you know what you're spending every month. That's important. But I love Zoho Forms and I love Jot Forms. If you guys, any of you guys use Chat GPT?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So if you go on Chat GPT, you can literally give ChatGPT the information about your podcast, what you're trying to do, and tell it to create you a vetted form for your guests, and it'll give you all the questions that you need. And you can put more in there, but definitely do that. That's so important. Okay. You want people coming onto your podcast that align with what you guys are doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going too fast?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So in your when you do your form, just put a little information about the contract. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you make sure you do that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. One of the one of the other questions was, where do you feel most stuck? Um One thing she talked about was kind of like being excited and then kind of having those moments where the excitement kind of goes away, and then you start to feel like maybe it's just me, maybe I'm tripping, maybe it's just me thinking this is something I'm supposed to do, but I don't know. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's not
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm-hmm.
um I said, remember that you're not just excited, that's purpose calling you.
Yeah.
When let me tell you, let me say something. The enemy is never going to tell you to do anything in ministry, period. He is never going to tell you to do anything in ministry because he doesn't want people to know what you have to say. He doesn't want people to know what you have to offer. That's purpose calling, you guys. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that excitement, God gives us that excitement and that hope to keep going, right?
Yeah.
So just remember that it's purpose calling you, but you have to start getting serious about it. And listen, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to say this, don't get offended. I love y'all. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's been any sort of procrastination, we got to throw that out the window.
Mm-hmm.
We got to throw procrastination out the window because procrastination will keep us, it'll be something that God told us to do in 2025 and we won't do it till 2028. Okay. So let's just get serious about it. One of the best and easiest things that has helped me, I'm a person, I'm like kind of like Tandalia. I got to break things down like into little steps. And so
Mm.
if I got 30 things to do, I'm like, okay, let me do one thing a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's going to help me get closer to my goal.
Yeah.
So that's actually the thing that has helped me is saying, okay, I'm going to do one thing today. I'm going to set up this platform. I'm going to record one video. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's going to help you doing one thing a day. That's going to help you gain your momentum. Just make it
Mm.
a priority because the longer you wait, again, the longer you delay somebody else, they need to hear your voice. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that you guys definitely have the vision for sure. You
Mm-hmm.
just need direction and clarity. Y'all literally got the vision. That's there. You don't need that. You
Yeah.
just need direction and clarity. So I'm going to give you some action steps that you can start doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get to all of them, I'll send these notes over to Tandali and she can give them to you all. So number one is you already have your name. Go on Fiverr and get your logo done. Okay. You can go on there, figure out what type of logo you guys want. Everybody who's on Fiverr, all the freelancers, they have ratings. And so I always go with 4 and 5 stars, even if you're paying $5. Okay. These people are still good. Don't think that because you're paying $5, you're not getting great work. Okay. So get that done. Create a professional email. All right. If you guys don't have that already, I love Zoho. It's just one of my favorite platforms because it's very user friendly, very inexpensive. But you can go on Google as well, and there are many others. Just find what works for you. Create a guest vetting form, ma'am.
Can you spell that? What are you saying?
Zoho, Zoho. You good? You good?
Zoho. Okay.
Yes. Yep. It's so much you can do with Zoho, but you can create forms, you can get a business email. I think that the business email is $6 or $3, something like that. And it's very user friendly. I love Zoho. I use Zoho for any business I start. Zoho is going to be used. Okay. Create a guest vetting form in ChatGPT. And if you need help with that, we can talk about that a little bit later. All right. So Riverside, that is the platform that we used, riverside.fm for podcasting. It is an all-in-one recording and editing platform. Okay.
Riverside.fm.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
Riverside.fm. I suggest getting the pro plan. It's $29 a month. Okay. And what we did is we just all split the cost between all of us three. You guys do it whatever way it works for you. But I love Riverside because it's easy and it's user friendly. Okay.
Okay.
I suggest you all start playing with the features. You can have up to, I think, 10 guests at one time. Most people don't have that many, but you can. And you can edit everything inside of Riverside. So it's not much that you have to do on your own. Okay. Let me know am I going too fast? You still writing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
You can record on your computer or on your phone. Makes it super easy. Okay. And you can invite guests with a simple link. Very easy for you guys. Let me see. Trying to make sure I got everything with Riverside. So just go and play with the features. It's a great platform for people like me who's not super tech savvy. I don't have time. I was like, I don't have time to learn all this editing and stuff. Give me something easy. Alicia felt me. She felt me on that one. All right, you guys, if you guys don't have your mics already, grab you a podcast mic or lapel mic. Amazon, inexpensive. Okay. Make sure that your podcasting area looks professional, sounds professional. Doesn't have to be a whole bunch. Just make it look good and sound good. Okay. She asked about LLCs. You do not need an LLC in Virginia to have a podcast, but it is beneficial if you want to monetize and have partnerships. However, I'm going to say this. You do not need it in the beginning, but it is $100 and you guys have an annual fee of $50. Like I was looking up stuff. I was like, let me help them as much as I can. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. But let me say this though. I wouldn't, if whatever you don't have to do right now, don't do right now. Okay. Just get it up and running and start and then start it. And these things can come later. But let's talk about monetizing. So she asked about monetizing. So I'll send you some steps. I'll send you guys some steps about monetizing. But the main thing you need to know about monetizing before most platforms, 99% of platforms, before you can monetize, you have to at least have 500 to 1,000 downloads. Okay. And so that does take time. So I would buckle my seatbelt, get comfortable, learn the ropes, and just have fun with podcasting.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it really is funny. You learn a lot about yourself, I promise.
Yeah, you do.
You
do.
do. We this was like our therapy.
Yeah.
Like when I tell
Yeah.
you, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had this much in me. You know what I'm saying? You really do learn
Right.
a lot about yourself. It's yeah, I learned a lot. It was my personal therapy, okay?
It
Um
is. It is.
I'm, I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. So once everything is set up besides your LLC, you're going to need a hosting platform that generates a RSS feed. This is what distributes your podcast to platforms like Apple and Spotify. There
Oh,
are
okay. Yeah.
many, yeah, I'm gonna tell you about that. There are many platforms that you can put your podcast on, but I'm gonna tell you what, the main two that you really need are Apple and Spotify. Those are the biggest
Mhm.
ones, okay? And interestingly enough, Spotify is more popular than Apple. Even though most of
Mhm.
us have iPhones or whatever have you, Spotify is more popular, okay?
Yeah.
And so the platform that I oh Tondalia with her Android. um
Mhm.
I want you to
Green bubbles.
write down. Right, right. I want you to write down Anchor. Anchor is the platform that you're
Mhm.
going to well, it's many of them, but Anchor is free and it
Yeah.
distributes to all of them. Also, Anchor is directly integrated in Riverside. And so once you're ready to upload your podcast, you can literally just click a button and it'll do it for you from Riverside. Okay?
Mhm.
Let's see. The last thing, I have a few additional things to remember, nothing big, but the last thing I'm gonna tell y'all, promote, promote, promote. Nobody in this world is gonna promote you better than you.
And you. Mhm.
Yes, so you cannot be scared, you cannot fear people, you cannot worry about what people gonna think or say or whatever. Baby, promote that podcast, okay? And have fun with it, because I'm telling you, people got stories and testimonies to tell.
Yeah.
And my last few things I have, just some additional things to remember. Again, everything won't be perfect at first, and that's okay. Just start, learn the ropes, and have fun.
Mhm.
Everything will work out, I promise you. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Eventually, once you have your LLC, get you a business bank account for monetizing. If y'all
Yeah.
don't have that, I'm sure you guys know these things, but I'm just want to
No,
put it out
that's
there.
it's good. Good stuff.
Okay. Okay. Um, since your podcast is about ministry, this is just what I would do, just a little nugget.
Mhm.
I create a free lead magnet in Canva if you can, or you can go buy one in Etsy. If it aligns with your brand and things like that, you can buy one and you can edit it in Canva.
A
And
free
I would
what?
literally a free lead magnet, like a devotional, like a prayer devotional. You can have worksheets, templates, anything, just something that you can kind of give
Mm.
away. Um, every episode or once a month. And what you do is that lead magnet, you're using that to capture people's emails. Okay. And I can, if you guys need like a
Yeah.
consultation, we can talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I would definitely do that so that you can start capturing people's emails. So eventually later on, let's say you guys do like a live show or something like that, you can have those emails and you can upsell.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Don't get
Mhm.
overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed. We can
No.
talk about it and I can help you guys formulate it if you need one.
Yeah,
Tondalia can too, because
definitely
she's good at
that.
it. Okay.
That
I
the
got you.
lead
Don't worry
magnet.
about that. I know.
That
I know.
yeah, because
I got you.
whoa. Okay.
It, um, and then through that, you guys can just start building your email list. And that
Yeah.
can come later. But the key is to just start it. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me? Everybody good? Self-explanatory?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good though. Good stuff. Because I never
Good stuff.
even thought of that. The lead
Yeah.
magnet. Never
Oh yeah.
even
Oh yeah.
hadn't even never
I
heard of it.
mean, it's and lead
Okay.
magnets can be anything. Like I said, they could be a workbook, it could be a
Mhm.
devotional. But because you guys are doing ministry, you can have like a 30-day prayer devotional. And it's just an ebook where it's 30 days worth of prayer. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So something like that. And you can give it away every episode, or you can give it away once a month, however you guys want to do it. But the ultimate plan is, for one, to bless people. That's number one. But for two, is to start capturing emails so that you guys can build your email list. And remember, these things take time. So don't
Yeah.
stress it. Doesn't have to be right now, but it is
Mm-hmm.
something that you should definitely think about. And it's not hard. I promise you, it's not hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I am Dominique Cleveland. I'm a business coach. I have I call it a society. I don't like to really call it a school, but I call it a
Oh.
society, where I help entrepreneurs, military spouses, military service members, and aspiring entrepreneurs jump into business. I start with mindset, and then we jump into figuring out your niche, what you want to do, and we give you step-by-step assistance in getting this thing going, so that hopefully we can at least get you to 6 figures. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I offer consultations. If anybody would like a consultation, please let me know. I'll send you my calendar, and I will walk you through every single step, through whatever it is that you need. All right. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you so much, Dominique. You gave so much information. Can you put your website in the chat, as well as how they can contact you?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. That was a wealth. I didn't expect her to give all of that, but that was amazing. I'm so, so, so glad. I've been trying to hold this all week. I wanted to tell everybody that y'all was coming, but I was like, no, do not say nothing. So next up, we have, and feel free to jump off my speakers if you'd like to. You don't have to stay. Next, we have Alicia Hurt, who is going to talk about building a women's platform that impacts the community. I've actually known her since we were 12 years old. And I get amazed and enamored with people. I love to see people do well. And when you share your dream with me, I love to see it come to pass. So I am so happy and pleased with what she's doing. I'm going to bring her along. Thank you, Dominique, for dropping your information. Go ahead, Alicia.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Tondalia, for this opportunity. When folks ask me to speak, I be like, "Me? You want me to speak?" So thank you so much. I'm so humbled. I'm gonna jump right in for time's sake, because I locked my door and little people are like knocking and tugging at the door. So this is my crew. That's my husband, Daryl Hurt, and my 4 children, of which I was told I could not have. And when the doctor before me was talking about what's in your hand, God truly showed me what was in my hand. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have done everything besides sell cars. Okay. And so I have always done things, but this is it. I have gone through my pain to truly find my purpose. And also on this screen is our Men's Support Services Program Manager, Mr. Reeves. And so the name of my nonprofit is I See My Baby Incorporated. And we support women holistically and their children. We provide education, support, and holistic wellness. We utilize the wellness wheel in our programming to make sure we're not just targeting one thing, but all areas. Because I don't know about you, but one thing will be going right, and then you'd be like, oh, Lord, here's something else. And so we just want to make sure that our women understand that you're well-rounded and that we have enough resources. If we don't have it within our organization, we have partners similar to Tondalia and other phenomenal women that can support in their own expertise. And our vision is to become a trusted hub for healing, education, and empowerment and storytelling. So when you think about setting up your nonprofit or your for-profit organization, you always want to break down your who, what, when, where, why, and how. And yes, I know we're not in school. However, the foundation laid in school. And so when you apply that, it helps you to cover the ground of, why am I doing it? What are my clients? How am I going to show up? What am I going to provide them with? And once you're able to answer those questions, then you have your systems and your structures in place and your focus. And that's the biggest part, your focus. So a little bit about me. I was married almost 10 years. We did not have children. I went to college. I had a great career. I was working in the church, a minister, just doing everything that you're supposed to do, but I just did not feel whole and complete. And so one day at work, a colleague, I entrusted her and I was vulnerable. She told me about in vitro. We went through in vitro. It did not work. It did not yield the results of having a baby. It took me through depression. I literally did not want to be here anymore. And also I had a true lack of faith, and I was frankly upset and mad with God. I wasn't talking to him. I was angry. I felt like I was less than a woman. The one thing that I'm supposed to do, I cannot do. And I felt like I was by myself, even though I had my family with me, my husband with me, and it actually almost broke our marriage. And so I went back. I was like, well, I want to try vitro again because, we talked about adoption and that just wasn't an option for us. Needless to say, I needed my husband's okay to go through with the eggs we had in the freezer. He said no because of what we went through. My doctor said I can send you for a simple procedure to open up your lining a little more because the last try it was a little challenging to put the embryo in. I went through that process. I went back to him. I was like, well, what's next? And he was like, there's nothing else other than going through in vitro again. And so I gave up. My husband then had a vision, and he said, hey, God spoke to me and said that we need to move from Baltimore back to PG County because we're going to have a child. And I was like, well, I guess if God's talking to you, because I'm mad at him and he ain't talking to me. And we followed and did what he said. And so we moved back in with my parents and in their basement. I continued with my health plan, making sure my body was fine. And there was a procedure to do because they saw a cyst or something on my ovaries. And I had to do a pregnancy test. And the results of that, they called me and said, well, you're not going to get that test because you're pregnant. And so like, that is where our journey just changed. And even in having the kids, I put a petition out to the Lord. I was very specific in my prayer. I wanted 4 children. We had the 3 girls, and people prophesied in the church saying I would have a boy. I was like, where's that boy? Then we got pregnant again. I was like, hey, this must be the boy. And I ended up having a miscarriage. And I felt like day one all over again. And so we ended up getting pregnant for the last time with the boy. I got my tubes ligated. Yes, I did. I took one for the team and I said, thank you, Jesus. Well, out of that, I wrote a book and I told my story. And writing that book, it took me almost a year, even though that was my second book. It took me almost a year to do it because of the subject matter. And when I finished it, I was like, all right, I'm going to put it on Amazon and sell it. And so I needed to be a business owner. So I was like, all right, I'll set up a foundation. I set up the foundation. I See My Baby, which you see here on the screen. That was the book. And then lo and behold, God's laughing at me because he's like, that's not it. That's the beginning. And so out of that, we started to exist for a whole year virtually. I was providing coaching services, supporting women, navigating infertility, also helping women to birth their dreams and aspirations through the concept of being able to envision, manifest, and to believe your journey, what you want for it to come to fruition. And so who we serve women that are navigating infertility, reproductive health, or womb trauma. We also help mothers seeking cultural alignment with holistic wellness care, which includes yoni steaming. Yoni steaming is very natural. It is literally safe, just like the tea that you drink. We use different herbal blends to support you with your self-care. Also, infertility, if you have any type of period cramps to perimenopause to postmenopause. Oprah let us know it was 66 symptoms. So we strongly believe in yoni steaming, and also we use it because as women, we harbor and hold so much in that we need to be able to release that and to birth the newness, right? And to create that divine feminine energy. And that's what we need to blossom and to grow into the lanes that we all aspire to be in. And so out of that, we were able to publish more books in order to help who we serve. Those girls needing the education, those girls needing the affirmation and that support, families in needs of tools and communication, growth, and also healing. And so that is what we utilize to help our clients that come to us at the Wellness Center. Our where, our location. So initially, like I said, we existed for a whole year virtually, a whole year virtual. And I literally relied on my savings and my 9 to 5 in order to fund everything. I also started dabbling in writing grants, and I'll get into that on my next slide to help fund the organization and further my reach. So we established it online, and then year 2, my mom passed in 2023, and I had a desire to just get away from the DMV area and start fresh. Don't know where it came from, but now I do. It was God. And so we're in Georgia. We are in Bainbridge, Georgia. Never heard of it until my husband found a house and came down and put a contract on it. But we are here nevertheless, and there is a great need for our organization. One day I was just driving, saw a for rent sign. I literally did not have the money in my bank account, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be bold. And I pursued the landlord. I ended up getting in contact with another organization. We both couldn't afford the rent solely, so we split the building in half. And now we're both sharing it, and we have parallel complementing services to support the community. But I'll take it a step further on when God says it's time, when God says to go, when God says this is what you're supposed to do, he makes provisions. That landlord called me again and called me by myself in the office and said, I'm going to pay your first month deposit and your first month rent and your deposit. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I knew it was you, because I'm telling y'all, this was blind faith. Also in her discussion, she said, I looked you up, and she said, your hands are in a lot of things. And how do I know that you're going to focus on this and you're going to ensure that you see it through? And I said, and I am committing to you. I'm going to see it through. And I needed that. I needed that focus. I needed that push, because at the end of the day, now I see I can't do all of those things. How did they say, like, you're the jack of all trades, but the master of none? Like, I literally had to sit down and focus on this one thing that God wants me to blossom and to grow. And in that, because you see men on the front, is the growth in the organization. Men have been in my DM since we've been virtual saying to me, Alicia, you're helping women, but we suffer too. We suffer in silence. We go through infertility. Can you help us? I didn't have the means to do it. I would just refer them out. And then God sent me Mr. Reese. And then my husband said, I want to support as well. And so we're growing that division of our organization so that we are truly a holistic center helping. Because if we have strong women, what happens to the men? They're weak. They don't have the tools that they need. So we're here to say, nope, you're going to have a strong support system to walk you through your journey. And then in year 3, we are looking and seeking a birthing center. So that way, as we're helping those women with infertility, guess what's happening? We get to birth those actual babies. And then throughout our program, we always end every year with a retreat. And so in year 4, we're looking to actually own our own retreats facility instead of continuing to rent facilities. And then in year 5, we're looking to relocate, because we want to be able to perfect it here and then go to another area that needs this and replicate what we're doing or duplicate it. This is our mural on the outside of our building. And the why behind it. Why do you want to set up a startup? Well, first off, you have to have a vision. You have to have passion behind it, because honestly, I've taken a pay cut doing this. My 9 to 5 in Maryland, I was making 6 figures. I'm a realtor by trade. I was making 6 figures. I had a property management business. I was making good money with that. But when God calls you and he tugs on you, you got to go. And he literally said, you got to go. You got to stop all of that and you got to do this. I was like, Lord, this is crazy. But that was my motivation. That was my foundation. And now I can see it. And I can see it through the funding that we're receiving, the support that we're getting. So you may make sure that when you establish a nonprofit, that you have a clear vision, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, making sure you have all of your legal and operational systems in place. And if you don't know, you can find out. I do have a packet that I'll have a link at the end of this, and I will give you my contact information to share as well all of what I've had, because over the years, I've put folders together, information, insight, and of course, our best friend, our BFF, ChatGPT helps us as well. But you want to make sure that you're compliant, because as a nonprofit, especially if you get the status of 501c3, meaning that you can solicit for funding, eyes are on you, because you get tax breaks and benefits for having that system, that status set up. You want to also make sure you're creating sustainable funding models, because just because you're getting awarded this money, you have to be able to sustain, and then you have to report back on how you're using it, and you have to show your impact in order for you to be fundable again, and other organizations to want to help and to pour into your mission. Make sure you have your structure in place. I know that when we opened the brick and mortar, I started off with 2 employees and myself. I'm now down to myself and my daughter as an intern. And my husband had to put his foot down and say, we're not hiring anymore, because we need to get our structures tight, and we need to make sure that our funding is in place as well. And I'm like, okay. I get it. So like the speaker before me said, when you first start a business, you just want to get people in and throw them in. But I had to learn the hard way. And then as I'm in the seat of the roles that I had, I'm like, I didn't need it. I did not need those 2 roles. What I need is someone that can actually run this facility, not assistants. And that will change, but you do need to see what is going on. And a lot of what you will learn, unfortunately, is trial and error. And it's okay, because that helps you to be stronger, to build greater systems, and to understand exactly what it takes to run your organization. And I just put on here some reflective questions for you. If you're having a challenge with trying to figure out your clear vision, which angle to go in, how to narrow down your focus, what problem are you solving? Why are you the one to solve it? What would success look like 5 years from now? Who is the target audience? So, and I'll give this to Tondalia as well, so you guys can go back to it and really brainstorm and refocus and center yourself. Your why, again, reflecting on your why, your mission, your vision, and your story. And you may set out with, this is my mission, this is my vision, this is, your story's not going to change, but your mission and your vision may. So like I explained to you, I started out with solely women. And then the men started saying we need help too. So our focus is still women, but when we start doing our strategic planning with our board, we have to finesse and adjust our mission and vision, because it is altered now. And we've also added a component of actual food. Because if I'm helping you as a woman, trying to help you manifest and believe and grow and birth babies, but you're like, Alicia, I can't hear you. I can't shift my mindset because I have a hardship. I can't feed my family. What are we supposed to do? So we've added a component of food. So we provide food twice a month on the 2nd and 4th Friday. And then we also have classes, because we're giving you the food, but now we need to help you see how you can make it nutritious, how you can be healthy on a budget. So as you guys can see, we're adding to this program. It's becoming more robust. Now, I didn't think about that. I just thought about what I went through in my book, but God is just adding. He's adding. I'm not shifting the actual focus, because it's still the woman, but then what comes out of the woman? It comes her mate, her support. It comes her children, right? Her family. So it all aligns. Also reflecting again on your what tools are you offering? The speaker before, she referred to giving out, giving stuff, because at the end of the day, it's like, I really want you to kind of buy into what I'm saying, but then at the if you want the full-fledged program and you want all of us, it does come with the cost, and it may be just your time, because we're a nonprofit and we're having funding. We can offset some of that hardship with the funds that we receive, but they have to give something in order for them to have buy-in, to say, nope, I'm going to focus, I'm going to be accountable, I'm going to shift my mindset. And as a nonprofit, everything is not free. You can make money. You just cannot be, your sole focus is for profit. And that is why you want to ensure you have your legal structures in place. You have your person helping you with your finances. So for me, I'm not the person. And I know that. And so I have an accountant that keeps my book straight, that I can have these deeper conversations with. Even when we built out our yoni steaming program, I talked to my accountant just to make sure what we would make off of this wouldn't set off any red flags and would be out of compliance for our 501 C3 status or as a nonprofit. So you want to make sure that your books are tight. Make sure your books are tight. We do sell like t-shirts and our devotionals and things of that sort, but it still goes back to the mission and the vision and why we're doing it, not just for the sales of those things. Those are just additional for our programming that we provide. Again, your when and your how, your structure, your strategies, grants, and fundraising. And I know everybody is like, come on, girl, you keep talking about grants. Let's get to it. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. So here are a few questions for you just to think through. One biggie is founding board members, because folks will tell you, yes, I'll be on your board, and then you'll be the only one on the meetings. You'll be pulling them along. You'll be doing all the work, and you will be very frustrated. Believe you me, I'm there. I have gotten great, I would say out of my 7, 4 are solid. I still have to send reminders, but when you're seeking board members, be strategic, and you want people that also have their own outside networks and relationships that can help to build and uplift your organization. Not just a friend that you like, come on, girl, you my good girlfriend. No, we need people that's going to work and that really understand the mission, or if they don't, they have a mindset. So maybe find a lawyer. That's very strategic, because that'll save you money on paying for legal costs. They'll do a pro bono for you. Maybe find an accountant that does books. Hey, you want to be on my board? And they will have a whole lot of wisdom to impart and to help you to propel your organization. So funding the vision, this is what everybody loves to talk about. But remember now, once you get the money, that's great. But then you got another problem on your hands. You got to figure out how to maintain it, how to be strategic, how to make it stretch, right? And to use it wisely. And also the reporting aspect that goes along with it with many of the funders. So there are different ways of funding. So I'm going to start with the easiest one, board responsibility, where you can do give or get. And with my board, we started with 500, and I allowed them to come up with their own decisions. Some boards, give or get, is 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. It just really depends on your organization, your structure, what you're doing, how much you're bringing in, your impact of what you can ask for. And so what it means is, I, Alicia, am a board member. I have to either go and get 500 for I See My Baby, or I can give it. So getting it could be going out to your friends and saying, give you 5 friends, give me $100. Or, hey, I have a connection with Coca-Cola. I'm going to introduce you to the community rep for your region. And that's a shoe and a way for you to get funding. That's the give and get. It's done for the year. And that's every year, give or get, which is very strategic. And I would highly recommend that you set it up with your board and be upfront with it. We're going to have a give or get policy. So you know, every year, if I don't get a dime, this is how much I'm going to get from the board, and they're going to work. Also, giving models. So you can pursue corporate and foundations. Some bigger companies, they may say, if an employee gives to a nonprofit on their list and you can ask to be added to the list, then they will match it. That's another giving model. You can reach out to different organizations, foundations. There are websites like foundation.org where you'll find all of it's thousands. Every nonprofit has to be, it's called candid.org. That's attached to foundations, but every nonprofit should have a profile there. And if you want to get funded, and now years, I was out in these streets and not on it, but last year is when I started like really hitting the ground with and I also have a mentor that supports me in the knowledge behind it, but it's called candid.org. You have to put all your information on there, how much you make, your taxes, what your mission is, your vision, who you serve, what your goals are. And then you can search on there, and there's a paid part with Foundation that you can find all the organizations that will align with you, and you can complete grant applications that way and submit. LOIs, letters of intent, send emails to the people that are local to you, like the Chick-fil-A's and Pepsi and your local banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. They all have local entities or local hubs that they have a quota to give, but they need to know what you're doing in order to say, okay, we will help and support you. The other part is when you're seeking grant funding, for the first 3 to 5 years, most of those organizations are going to tell you no, unless you have some type of connections or what you're doing is so super unique that no one else is doing it and they want to fund you. So relationships are key. Yeah, I know you guys have heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know a lot of the times. And it's so true, especially with grant funding. Also with capital raising strategies, you can do soft market campaigns online. We have something called Friends of I See My Baby that really helped us last year to get a couple thousand more for our retreat to Jamaica to pay some expenses, but just reaching out, sending text messages, putting it out on social media. And then when you do get someone to give, shouting them out so that more people are compelled and saying, hey, I just need your help. If you don't have the funds, could you just hit that share button? Because you never know who will see it and be compelled to support us and help. And no amount is too little. It will stretch and really help us. And self-funding, I left that for last because nobody wants to talk about having to dip into their savings or retirement. But I did it all in order to fund the dream, the goal, and my purpose. And I'm thankful for it. Definitely was a hardship. However, God is now showing me like, hey, you've been faithful. Now I'm going to bless you in abundance. So again, self-funding, campaign funding, grants, corporate, and individual giving are all the ways to help you to source and staff your organization. Volunteers are key. We're now having a wait list of people that want to volunteer and help. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. We've had the Department of Labor here reach out to us to give us free labor with seniors. So you want to reach out to your different government entities and see what programs they have that can help you with free labor volunteers. Now, of course, with it being free, it's great that it's no monetary, but you're going to have to give up your time, meaning you're going to have to train, you're going to have to develop, and really to get the skills that you need to run your organization. But it really helps with food when we're packaging and putting our food together, spreading the word, things of that sort. And then here are some more questions for you to really dig into and think through. Also utilizing your media. We have been on ABC News here in Georgia, Bainbridge, Georgia, and Tallahassee area about maybe 5 times now. And that has really helped with our reputation, building up the trust and putting more eyes on us for corporate funding. Also making sure that your social medias reflect who you are. So before you really start going out there, cleaning up your stuff, right? You may have liked and shared some things that, yes, personally is fine, but it may not align with your branding and your organization. And then here's just a checklist for you. Again, I'll provide the slides of ways to help you really check the box off of, am I setting this up correctly? Also in helping to promote yourself, we've dabbled in the podcast arena, and that really helped to expand our reach. So if you're not even thinking about podcasting, you need to go back to what the previous speaker talked about, because there is value in it. It is value in it for your organization to sustain and to reach people that you may not have ever reached by just putting something out there on social media. Again, my name is Alicia Hurt. I'm a mother of 4, a wife. I'm a minister. I am a servant leader in everything that I do. I am here to serve. Again, we're here. We have our Women's Wellness Center in Bainbridge, Georgia. We still support clients virtually and in person. I do holistic life coaching. Again, I help women not just birth those physical babies and support them as a doula, but I also help them birth their dreams and their aspirations. And I do have a free ebook here for you to kind of help you in navigating, opening and establishing and leveling up your nonprofit. Again, thank you, Tondalia. And now, if I have any time, I can answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you so much, Alicia. I appreciate it. I know your babies are probably banging the door down, but thank you so much for giving up your time this evening. And I saw a lot of people taking notes. So I am very floored by Dr. Dominique as well as Alicia just providing a wealth of information. I didn't expect that. This was so good, and I'm just so glad that I was able to share. You all were able to share this information with them. I know that they'll forever be changed. I have two more presenters. I'm going to bring up Mia Knight, and then also to tie this all together, I have Jasmine from JMA Law, who's going to help us make sure that we do this thing legally. So it's past time to be doing the side gig thing, but we want to make sure we legitimize it as well. Okay, Mia, it's in your hands. Thank you so much.
Okay, I might have missed something because I think I froze and went out. I'm back now. How's everyone doing tonight? Whew, it's tired. Just to tell you a little bit about me, my name is Mia Knight. I am a two-time award-winning author. I have two platforms. Actually, she is MIA, which is Manifesting Inner Healing Through Agape, which I use, which was created for single mothers and single women to help them discover their purpose through inner healing. There's future goals with that, but that's ministry. Also created a platform for business called From Purpose to Publish, where I help men and women write their story, self-publish, and discover their purpose through their writings, taking everything that they've ever experienced, their testimony, and turn it into a story. I have written two books. My first book was Seeds of My Existence. It's blurred out because of the thing. This was my first book that I wrote. I was one angry person when I wrote this book. But when I wrote this book, I didn't write it for anyone but me. The second book I wrote, I had a little bit more clarity. So that's what I do. I teach individuals how to discover their voice when they're writing. When I first started writing, I didn't seek to write a book. I love to journal. I love to write. Writing is therapy for me. So anything I'm feeling in a moment, I write it down. And I've been doing this for years. And when I went back and thought about it, I literally started writing things when I was a little girl. It was an escape for me. I experienced a lot of childhood trauma, so I was isolated and I was alone. So that was my opportunity to escape what was going on around me. So I started writing. And that's when the first book started, Seeds of My Existence, because I took that childhood trauma, the experiences with my mother, and realized that the things that I was experiencing, she taught me. And I was doing the same thing. I was planting those same seeds into my children. I have three daughters. They're 34, about to be 23 and 21. So I became a single mother at age 18. So that was really my platform. And as I've grown through these experiences, I have become a well-developed author, where now when I speak about my childhood trauma, that's not the focus. The focus is the journey, the experience that got me to where I am. So this is why I am so passionate about helping others discover their voice when they're writing, because it's not about what you went through. It's not about how you went through it. It's discovering that God was with you throughout that whole process, through all that trauma, all that stuff that you went through, and it was for a purpose. It was for a purpose that I discovered my gift to write, to influence, to help others, like I said, discover their voice. I was looking at some of the questions, or someone said they wanted to write books and write guides. When you start writing, I think a lot of times people get frustrated and they become unmotivated, I guess, or they feel stagnant because they're trying to figure out and discover what they should be writing. They have an idea of what they want to do, so they start writing from that point. When I wrote my second book, I actually wrote it backwards, and it was based on the question, God, why do I fail in relationships? I took that and I went through every relationship I had with, starting with my parents, starting with the men in my life, and even my relationship with God. As I was writing the book, I realized I struggled because I didn't have a relationship with God. Even when I was saved, I didn't have a relationship with God. So when I started writing the book, I experienced a lot of triggers. This is one thing that people they get discouraged when they start writing. They will literally stop writing the book because they will hit a wall. They feel like, well, I can't do this. I can't, it's not making sense. Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody doesn't want to read. Nobody's going to want to read my book because it's not for them. But this is the thing, when you're writing the book, God gave it to you. Therefore, it is for someone. Don't worry about the who. You identify your audience. My audience initially I thought was single mothers, people raising children, mental health issues. But then it grew bigger. I just took me. I didn't look at anybody else's circumstance or situation. I took my circumstance, situation, and I put it out there. You got to get past the fear of putting yourself out there when you're writing your book. And that is one of the things that I created a framework called the testimony method. This is where I help you take your story, the things that you've been through, your challenges, and help you create your testimony. Because when you're writing a book, it's your testimony. I actually have new client that I'm getting ready to work with who wants to create a book for her clients to teach about credit building, credit repair. That's part of her testimony. She doesn't know it yet, but it's her testimony, because why are you writing this book? You're sharing with people your experiences, your expertise, because these are things that you went through. And that is what your book is. That's really what your book is about. When I write my books, sometimes I can sit and write a book in a day. If I just sit there and write. Sometimes I do a brain dump. And that is very important. When you do a brain dump, you're able to just like release everything in that moment. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Just dump it. Just write it down, get it out, type it out, whatever you need to do. You can go back and organize it once you get everything out. And when I wrote my second book, we talked about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a wonderful tool when you're writing. It's not to write your book. Now, I pay for mine $20 a month because I have a few more options, and it does a little bit more for you. But even with ChatGPT, think about it, it's a computer. It will begin to learn you. It will be able to draw from your voice through what you've written, and it will help you actually create an introduction. You go back and make your changes, but you can give it specific instructions on what you want. Even it's upgrading every day. Create book covers. Now, my book covers I created from Canva, but my next book, this third book that I'm working on, I use ChatGPT. So you can use those tools. They're there to help you. They were created. I think a lot of people are kind of leery about using ChatGPT, but God gave somebody the instruction on how to create it. So it's okay, but you have to be able to use it correctly. Discover your voice. Teach it how to write the way you write. And that's what I've done. Even through this process, when I published my book, I didn't have any money to publish my book. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this? And even Tonda Leah, we've been knowing each other forever. And that was one thing I think Tonda Leah mentioned to me way back. My first book was written in 2020 and self-published. She said, you can do it on Amazon. I think it was Barnes and Noble. You can also too. But I went straight to Amazon, went through the process, and I was able to self-publish my book, $0. I didn't have to spend any money. I went through set up my page, uploaded my book cover. My first book, Amazon gives you the option to either upload your book cover or they will create one for you. I was just beginning, so I allowed Amazon to create one for me. I've since changed my book cover for my book because I've learned how to create that on my own using Canva. But once I self-published, I went through book cover. The first thing that kicked my butt was the dimensions of the book. It probably took me just as long to upload and format that book as it did to write it. However, I've learned, because everything is there. I've learned how to format the book. I've learned about the margins, gutter margins. I know all about that, the page numbering, table of contents. You do everything yourself. You set your prices, you set your markets, your metadata, everything is set in there. It's for you to do that. But a lot of people do not like to take the time to do it. So that's where I am. I have I give people options to allow me to be the hands for them. So that is part of my program. And also with that, what else? The author branding. Author branding is a little bit different. Author branding, now with my books, I'm be honest with you, I market little. That wasn't my strong suit. I go to Tandalia when I want to market. So even when you're writing your book and creating your book and publishing your book, ask for help, resources. That's what I had to do. So that's why I said this. That's why I'm passionate about helping others. I want to see people succeed. But the entire book process, publishing is the easy part. I think the hardest part about writing is writing your book, getting past where you were to get where you want to be. Feel like I'm all over the place. I had notes, y'all, but sometimes when I start talking, but yeah, you write your book, the brain dump, you identify your turning points, you create healing outline. Now, this is the thing. My focus is, my platform evolves around inner healing. Some people may say, I've heard someone say, why is it so hard to write a book? You don't know what's in you until you start sharing, until you open your mouth, until you start speaking about things. Sometimes even when you're writing, you'll discover there's some things that you have buried deep down. And when you start writing, I think that's when people lose the motivation, because that's when they hit the wall. A lot of people think it's because they don't have the time, or I guess the motive, like I said, they don't have the push to write a book. But I found, talking to a lot of people, when you're writing a book, it's because there's something that's blocking you from getting the breakthrough. You don't have to write a book in order. Just write your book. The order will come. Like I said, I write backwards. I start from, sometimes I jump. Don't get discouraged because you're jumping around writing your book. Just write your book. The other thing, when you're publishing your book, I said that. I'm sorry, y'all. I this is hard. I messed up. Sorry, y'all. But I was looking at some of the questions that Tanalia had shared with me, and it was, the person said they want to write books and guides. When you make a decision about what you want to write, stick to one thing. Don't start it and then say, I want to do something else. Stick to that one book. My last book, The second book that I wrote, I published in June of 2024. I started writing that book in January, and I was finished in 4 months. Because when I started writing, I started just releasing. Even if you have other things, don't feel like you have to sit there and write it out all at one time. Write a little bit, go do something else. I work a 9 to 5. I'm in school part-time. So when I have free time or something hits my spirit, I write it down. You'll be amazed what you can do just writing notes. I was mentoring a young lady, and we were talking about daddy issues. And I said a simple thing to her. If you're having issues, I said, write a letter. You don't have to send it to them, just write a letter. She did that, came back the next day and texted me and said she was able to write 7 chapters. So that's why I say sometimes it's not because you lack the motivation, it's because something is blocking you from writing your story, from telling that story. So sometimes when you write, you have to stop and go back to it. You might have to go back to it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 7 times, but keep writing until you break that wall down so that you can write that story. Even somebody said, what would success look like in the next 60 days? Actually getting words on a page. 1 word is a word. Sometimes I write 1 word, 2 words, and I'm able to create a whole page, 1 page. Just start writing and releasing. And sometimes you have to have those hard conversations with yourself. What is causing me to be stuck? Why can't I want to write the book, but what is stopping me from writing the book? So sometimes you have those conversations with yourself. Find someone that you're close to and say, hey, I want to run this by you. You'll be amazed. Something as simple as, well, maybe you should try this, or just having someone listen to you. Another tool that I found I've been using recently to write is my note section in my phone. Because if you put it on microphone and you speak it, it will transcribe what you say. Then I take that and put it into ChatGPT, and I said, organize my notes. You can create a whole chapter, probably the outline for a book with just that, because these are still your thoughts. Sometimes it's hard to write it down, so speak it out. And that will actually, that helps me a lot. Another question, what would it look like if clarity, confidence, and direction were no longer missing? Yeah, it will be done, I agree. But even when you write the book, ask yourself, what's next? Because you don't want to just write the book. Because like I said, I wrote the book. I didn't market the book. I marketed the outcome, the inner healing, the story. That's what I share. Well, that's why I created From Purpose to Publish, so that I can help other people discover their voice, their authorship, who they are, who they called to be, so that they can connect to their audience, so they can teach that person how to be free, how to repair their credit, how to, it's a domino effect. When your story was given to you, it wasn't just for you, it was for someone else. Just as we read the Bible, we can read a scripture 10 different ways and receive 10 different revelations from that one scripture. That's the same way with your book. One person may read your book and receive something from it, but then the next person may read it and they're going to get what they need from it. So remember, your story is your story, but it was created for someone else. So I'm going to leave this with you. If you want to write your story, start writing a checklist for yourself. I use who, what, why, where. Ask yourself, what is your why behind writing the book? Who is your target audience? What do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to go once you write your book? So just ask yourself those questions when you write your book, because writing the book to me is not the hard part. It's developing your voice when you write your book, because it's not about, you got to block out the naysayers. Because honestly, when I wrote my first book, because of the trauma that I experienced, and it was about my mother, I probably said some things that were offensive to her, but it was my story. It was from my point of view. My second book, well, I just dumped it out there. Again, it was my story, my point of view. Failed relationships were because of this. And I wrote my story from that. And when I wrote my book, I feel like that's why I said I didn't really market probably the way others would have, because, Purpose was birthed from that book. She is MIA, and from Purpose to Publish. So, what else? Because I done got all tied around, twisted
That's
around.
good.
And I ain't
You did good.
nothing. If anybody have any questions, my chaos. I think because I'm sleepy too. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's good, Mia. This is
Yeah.
some good information.
Yeah.
It's flowing. It is flowing properly.
Okay. I feel like I'm like over here, but
No,
yeah.
I appreciate it.
But I am actually getting ready to I'm preparing for a mini masterclass where I am going to share my platform from Purpose to Publish, which is a testimony method, publishing mentorship, and then write, publish, impact framework, which is the process from beginning to end, from writing the book to discovering your purpose and developing your social media content, whether you want to do a podcast, whether you want to speak in engagements. So I will be having my first mini masterclass next Wednesday, May 28th at 7 p.m. And from that, I will be scheduling discovery calls to set up a plan for those individuals who are interested in writing their book, publishing their book, and we're gonna go from there. So
You have a question too.
I have a question.
You have a question. Uh-huh.
Where that?
Yes. Thank you for all the information. I was going to ask, like, as far as transparency, did you ever, like, with your writing, did you ever have any hiccups with, like, feeling like you were sharing too much, or that you didn't want to like share certain aspects of your, your history, your story, and then how did you overcome that?
Well, my first book, I think I was a little careful. Okay, I have a 34-year-old who's a little cutthroat when it comes to things. She told me, look, sometimes you gotta throw some people out there. Keisha laughing, my child. You gotta put some people out there to get free. So when I wrote the first book, I was very careful. But when I wrote my second book, and it came from changing my mindset, and because I could not have written the book 4 years ago because of where I was, because I was still holding a lot of anger in, unforgiveness in my heart. And there was a lot of things, honestly, that I needed to forgive myself for. So once I got past that and I started accepting things, because honestly, my second book, I first started writing that book based on, when you're single, you write these letters of things to God, what you want in a spouse. I never saw myself as a wife. I had to get past that. I didn't realize that I had conditioned myself to be alone. So when I got past that, then the question was, God, why do I fail in relationships? And I went from there. And that's when this book, I wanted to get free for real. So I didn't care about whose feelings got hurt, but I was very careful. However, if you read my second book, Single, Saved, and Unfulfilled, Finding Me in Him, some people may say, Mia, you crossed the line, but I had to get past that because I put a lot of stuff out there, my mother, and my father. And I experienced a lot of, there's a part where I wrote about soul ties, and I had to break soul ties. And when I was going through and discovering soul ties, I had to go back and break the ties of those people who molested me, that I had blocked. So I didn't use names, but I put the information out there. And because of a lot of things that I went through, my mindset with the second book was, I'm not the only one that's gone through this. So I'm going to choose to be the bold one and put me out there so that I can help someone. Because a lot of people, like you said, they had that fear is there. And I'm very transparent. I haven't always been there because the first book I wrote, I wasn't that transparent because I walked on eggshells because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But then I'm still carrying that hurt and pain. If that answers, hope that answers.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mia.
You're
I know
welcome.
everybody's tired. Hang in there. We have one more presenter. This part is very important as we embark upon these things. I want us to shift from it just being like a little mom and pop mentality, the side gig, or it's just a little something, but to really understand the importance of, remember how I was saying, see the end. Where do you want this to go in the end? And that's why I have Jasmine here with JMA Law. I wanted to speak a little bit to Miracle as far as the question that you just asked. When I had to speak in Detroit, and I was talking about what happened to me in reference to my mother, when I was practicing the speech, I said, yeah, and my mom did this. And I came back and I said, but da-da-da-da-da. I tried to clean it up. They said, stop doing that. They said, don't do that because you're not, this is your story. You're dishonoring you. So when you do that, you're still trying to cover, or you're still placing somebody above you. This is your story. This is what happened to you. And like Mia was saying, I know everyone heals at a different point, but again, it's up to you now. If you put someone ahead of you, again, you're still putting yourself back in that same position. This is about you being free. This is your experience. You have to own it. They don't know what you experienced. So they told me to leave that part in there. What I did do is I called my mother right before I got on that stage, and I said, hey, this is what I'm going to say, because she was supposed to come with me. Now, when she heard the speech, she got upset. She said, I'm glad I wasn't there. She said, I probably would have been punching people in the face. She was upset, but again, it was my story. This was my experience, and I had to honor me. So don't ever, that will be another reason, another way of you quieting your voice. We've done that long enough. Okay. So my mom just had to go through this process with me, and she understands it now, because everyone isn't going to heal the same rate or speed that you do. But again, you have to honor you, and we can no longer put other people before us in regard to that. So I hope that helped. But go ahead, Jasmine, and come
Hey,
on in, girl.
everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Y'all, this is such a great conversation. If I may, I wanted
Go
to
ahead. Yeah.
kind of just segue from what Tanda Leah said. By the way, y'all, I'm married. I got 2 beautiful children. I'm here in Chesapeake. I'm an attorney, and I have my own practice. And what Tanda Leah said kind of got me thinking a little bit about me sharing my journey, and my husband and I sharing our journey as well. And one thing that I've learned is that there is a level of healing in private. I do believe that we do, whether that's writing, whether that's therapy, whether that's going to the person and asking for forgiveness, or, telling them that what they did bothered you. There is like an inner work process that happens in private. But I do believe that God gives us the go to speak publicly about certain things. But I think that it is seasoned with grace a little bit. And I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides where I've been just raw with it, and I shared everything. And I've been on the side where I've been, like Tana Leah said, protecting people. So now I think I'm to a place where it's like I can share and still honor God, tell my story, but I'm not just dragging people through the mud as well about whatever happened. I'm honoring them and me, so both. So this is a really good conversation, y'all. So I'm loving this. And y'all, I get it. It's getting late, so I'm gonna do a 3-minute presentation. Tanda Leah, if that's okay, I'm just gonna give them a preview of what I do and my contact information so y'all can follow up with me. So I'm a business and brand lawyer. So I focus on helping people set their business up, helping them strategize their brands on how they're going to be visible and present themselves to the world. My specialty is trademarks, right? So until you kind of lock that brand and claim it as yours, it's not really yours. And I've spoken with Tana Leah and Mia about this, right? It's like, oh my God, it just blows your mind that even if you've been working your business for years and years and years, somebody can still trademark it and stop you from using it. So that is my big jam. Like that's the thing that I'm talking about, preaching every single day. But then I also help business owners scale. So don't just stop at, starting the business, branding yourself, launching, but you want to scale to the point where you can put people under you, right? And so you're not so hands-on with your business, but you can also be a CEO. And so that comes with contractors, having employees, having chat GPT as your assistant, setting automations and systems, all these different things that you put in place so that way you can really be CEO. And that's part of building your legacy. Ultimately, you can't be so attached to whatever you're building that you're not able to release it or not able to hand it to the next generation. So you got to think about those things at the beginning. So yeah, y'all, that's what I do. I'm a believer. I go to church with Mia and Tanalia and Zay. So we are on here. And I'll just say that these ladies are invested in you. They're invested in your purpose. I think I can speak for all of us. Like we really want to see you be all God has called you to be. And so God has given us these marketplace avenues and platforms so that we can speak the Bible to you, but we can also give you the practical things based on what our skills and expertise is. So I think that's the big takeaway for the things that we're trying to do to invest in you guys. But you can come to me as your legal resource. My website is jmalaw.org. I'm just going to pop that here. So you can call me. The best thing to do, I would say, is to book that 15-minute client call with me. And so I get to know you all. I get to know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build. And then I'll leave you with this. The LLC is going to be your foundation for your business. The biggest reason is because you want to separate you from your business. Okay. So when you are releasing the book, when you're building out the coaching program, when you're starting the mom and pop shop or the online e-commerce website, right? You want to have an LLC so that way if something were to go wrong, if people want to complain about certain things or take you to court, you're separate from it. So they can try to come after your business money, but they can't come after your house, your car, your stuff. And another thing you want to do is open a bank account. Mrs. Hurt, you did beautiful covering nonprofits, and I seen on your checklist you hit a lot of things that I tell people to do. You form the business, you open up the bank account, you get an EIN number. All those things are foundational to really start your business and separate it from yourself. So anyway, y'all, thanks so much for having me. Thanks, Tanalia, for getting me in tonight. Y'all call me, reach out, let me know that you were on this session and we can do a follow-up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Jasmine. Thank you. Mia and Jay and Alicia, you guys can go ahead. Thank you. I know the hour is drawn late. I appreciate it so, so much. I will follow up with you. I have something coming to your email for participating. Thank you. All right, guys. I know that it is super, super late. I have a dilemma. We can either keep going for 10 minutes. I really wanted to do this live demo, especially for Keisha. Are you familiar with ChatGPT, Keisha? Okay. Do you know how to use it though to build out, like just for instance, what we were talking about earlier? As
No,
far as
not really.
we said the cooking classes, this and that. Okay. Give me like 10 minutes. I just really, really wanted to do that. I didn't expect them to just give. That was just a lot of information. I'm so glad. I'm like, dang, I
I
hate that
got
it's so
hungry too.
late.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
didn't hear you.
I got hungry too, so excuse me
Oh
for
no, you're
eating.
good. You're fine. I was just like, I really, really want to get this. I wanted to show you because everybody talked about that tonight. Every single person, like it is really, and it will really simplify what you're trying to do. Dang, an idea came to me while one of them were talking, and I was like, ooh, I was like, what was it? I said, what? I was thinking maybe oh my God, what was it? It was like maybe using your cookbook, you know what I'm saying, as the lead magnet when she said that. I think that's
Mhm.
the idea that came to my head. I can't even remember. But I'm just gonna do a simple, or I could just give you the prompt. Um, what can I do? So basically, and you could word it to yourself. I have Chat GPT up right here. And what I would do is say that I have an idea for a cooking class. This is what I love to do. How can I do this in Portsmouth, Virginia with people in this age range? I want to do it at least once a quarter, or I want to do it at least once a month. What's the easiest way that I can get this done with tell it the time that you have. I only have 3 hours a week that I can dedicate to it. I mean, you simplify it as simple as that. And Keisha, it is going to give you a legit plan.
Mm.
And then based on what it spits out to you, even be able to narrow it down again. This is the resources I have. I have $50 a week to put to this project. What can I do with this $50? And it's going
Mhm.
to spit you out a plan, and it really will allow you to follow it. Am I correct? Is that what you're using with for you, Miracle, right? And then Zay, you're familiar with how to use it, correct? So it's those simple things. What I'm going to do is I'll just give you guys this information, but we're going to follow up again because I have so much more. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm not sure we'll meet maybe the same time next week because I have like so much more to present, but I at least want to get to this end part where I can show you. I'm so happy though that I didn't expect them to just share their robust information. I love that. I love that for y'all. Like, I was like, yes, okay. So let me just skip here. And thank you for hanging in there because my eyes burning. Okay. I was like, I hope I don't look like a sleep one. Oh, Jesus. But here we go. Let me see. And then we're gonna go to sleep. So are we presenting? Yes. Then my phone had shut off and it restarted though. So I was like, oh God. I thought the whole thing shut down. All right, so this is when we got toward the end saying what's next. And I told you that we're going to have a private community. So I didn't want to use Facebook. I know not a lot of people use Facebook a lot. People are getting away from that. It's for like oldie fogies, what they say. So I thought the Telegram app is really, really cool because I love voice notes. I absolutely love voice notes. I've created a community for everyone who registered there will that's what we'll convene. It'll be voice notes. Also we'll have the group there, and that's what we'll do our live trainings. I'll put the Zoom link on there. We'll jump on here, finish this or anything else, something like we had tonight. I want to have a speaker that speaks specifically to what we're going so that we can always be pushed forward. My goal is to have live trainings like this at least quarterly. That's what I'm committed to do. I know that we all have lives or what have you, but to be able to convene, also use this group for to celebrate our wins. If we have any questions, if you need help with content creating, if you need us to jump on a live, that's what I want this group to be used for. So that's going to be Telegram. I'll go ahead and put it on sending it to you in an email. Like I said, a Zoom every other month, live coaching, just like we had tonight, where experts can come in and share that. So replays, of course, this replay, you'll get to please listen to it again, along with the other part two that we're going to do next week at the same time. And because you join here, any future workshops that I have, you'll have access to that inside of the Abundant Life Community, Unlimited Masterclass access, coaching vault, anything that I do is going to be put in there. So you have even different clarity sessions will be in there as well. So the Abundant Life Community, which is housed on my website, where those master classes will be held, you have access to that at a discounted rate because you came here tonight. It's normally $200, but on tonight it'll be $119. And you'll have until the end of this weekend if you want to access that. That's a one-time fee, and you have lifetime access for any type of training that I do, master classes, whoever I connect with and do. That's something that you have access to as well for $119. Let's see. Also going with the visibility execution to make sure everything that we talked about tonight, and I'm going to do a part two because I want to give you guys everything. So I am willing to actually do the content for you. I don't mind doing that because I want to make sure that you're successful. And I will give you a 90-day strategy done for you content plan, and you'll be good for 3 months once we work together to see exactly what you want to do. I don't mind doing that. That's going to ease you up and help you get to do, whatever you want to do. Then we can do one for 6 months. We can work together for 9 months. We can work together for, what is this? We can work together for an entire year, of course. That's available to you. And then this is how much it costs. There is a payment plan available if you want to do that of 16, 22, 28, 34. Payment plan is available for that. For the 3 months, it's the $534 for the 3 months. And then the next one is $376 if we work together for 6 months. And this is building your content plan, building your roadmap, making sure that you stay consistent, that you don't miss anybody with what you want to do. Also, if you want to work together for 9 months, it's $311 a month. And then $340 for 10 months. That's for the whole year if you want to work together. So I want to tell you thank you. And you guys will have a certificate coming to your box because you were here with me, our eyes burning, and we hung in there together. We hung in there. I really greatly appreciate you guys, but this is what I love to do. And what I'll do is let me know, give me a thumbs up if next Friday is good for you at 7. It won't be this long, of course, because I was near the end. I just want to do those live demos and I want us to sit together and plan out content. Keisha is a no. What's your next available date?
Yeah.
I'm actually going out of town. My dad's birthday is Friday, so yeah.
Okay. I mean, we could work together separately. I just want to make sure that you have at least 30 days worth of content done for whatever you plan on doing, just so you can see how it works. Zay and Mimi, how about next Friday for you guys?
Well, we have that worship night.
Oh yeah, oh wow, so I won't be there either. We have a worship night. Okay, I just want to make sure that I deliver on what I said. I wanted to make sure that you guys had content available.
Yes.
You had a question, Mimi? No? Okay. So let me figure out what we're going to do, but we are going to do a part 2. I always want to make sure that my deliverables, I don't be playing about that. But thank you guys. Have a great night. Oh, I'm sorry. Before you go, I say that I wanted some feedback because I'm going to use this for recording so people can know that it's going down over here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start with, don't laugh at me, Zay. Hey, that's how you get so people know, like, okay, so she really is doing something. So I'll start with Zay and whatever you want, and I'll just clip it up, of course, and I'll use it. Yeah, so go ahead, Zay, and just give me some feedback, what you enjoyed about tonight, what you got from it. And if you can be maybe a little specific so people will know what you're taking away from it and everything like that. Go ahead. You ready to go?
Yeah. This This has been phenomenal. I gained a wealth of knowledge. I took plenty of notes. But my takeaways was to hone down on, if you have your hands in multiple things, just hone down on one thing, execute until completion. Um, and another thing that stood out for me with especially with the podcast, or with having done one before, but still, like, you still can get knowledge, you know, um, was to just have fun and to start. It doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning, just start. And then it's like, as you know, like they say, if you take that one step, God will do the rest. Like, it'll just open up, like it's just gonna flow, especially if it's a God thing. If he gave it to you to do, yeah. So those are my takeaways.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Keisha.
My takeaway is I came here with like uh kind of discouraged about what I was going to do as far as moving forward. Didn't really have a plan on what to do, and this course helped me to get back focused, redirect me in the right direction, helped me to reignite passion that I thought I lost. So yeah, that's what I take away from it. And then all the other information was good. The other speakers were very good. They were very thorough. They were clear, they were concise with what they said. So it was a very good class. I really recommend it to other people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Mimi.
Okay, so yeah, so I had a great experience. I'm really glad that I was invited. Um, I feel like it's at the perfect timing of where I am as far as my purpose and doing the things that God has put on my heart to do. It was a safe space. I really enjoyed the exercise where we reframed our limiting beliefs and how we kind of changed that to, changed our thought patterns and just kind of think about the things that keep us stuck or, stuck in fear and kind of stagnant. The speakers were great, and I also think the workbook was wonderful too. I'm definitely going to be
Mm-hmm.
taking a look at that after this. It was wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were here. This has been amazing, amazing. Again, like I said, I will follow up with you guys in an email. I'll have your certificates there. I'll also have the link for the Telegram community, and I will reach out to you for our part 2. I just really want us to go over that content together because we can always get and pull from one another. That's the whole purpose for community. I really believe in doing it. That's a very integral part. That's why I wanted to do the lab. But thank you guys. I have enjoyed you. Thank you for spending your evening with me, having your eyes burn and all of that stuff. Now you can go to sleep or what have you. Thank you, Keisha. I'm so glad that you got reignited. And don't y'all see the cookbook though. I see the cookbook, I see the classes. Like I wish I could remember specifically. I should have wrote it down, but my book is over there. But when she was talking, I said, "Oh my God, yes!" I said, "That's going to be the." I believe it was. I believe it really was the cookbook, and then the story. It's going to be the story behind the cookbook that's going to sell it. It's going to be it's going to be the story behind it. But thank you guys. You guys have a great night, and I appreciate you. And I will see you soon.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
You're
Good night.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.